What's going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ Prime.
And Diggins has come!
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture, looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
I was kind of hoping, you would do that. One of you would do, like, I'm DJ Prime, and the other would be like, I'm DJ Primal, or something, because it's always been dumb that they have that name, and in this, they're like, it is dumb that we have that name.
Yeah.
There's an explanation for it, but it is kind of dumb.
I mean, it's the same explanation, except they never explained the explanation in this movie. They just kind of say it like you should know that they're from the future, but also the past. And
yes.
and it's just like, wait, hold on, what does that mean? And the movie's like, too bad. We're past that already.
Yeah, that's right. And we'll talk about it because there's a lot of that to get to. There's lots of nitpicking. Transformers 6, if you don't count Bumblebee, Rise of the Beasts.
Woohoo!
Very
also,
exciting.
This is a new these doubters here, these haters in this podcast with me were all like, that can't be true. And I was like, this is a new continuity. But I think this movie provides incontrovertible evidence that I was correct.
Absolutely false. I did not say it's not a new continuity. I said originally the movies were not sure if they were new continuity. When they did Bumblebee, the producer was like, I don't know. But then, by now it's clear that they're not a new continuity. But like,
No, that they are a new continuity.
That they are, right. Well, in our Bumblebee episode, because I was listening to it, because someone was like, you said that Haley Steinfeld would be a good Hawkeye. And I was like, I gotta listen to that then. And I was right. So, cool. But also, I remembered this. The director was asked where Megatron is, and the director said, frozen in ice, maybe. So, that was they were kind of leaving parts of the door open during Bumblebee. More open than you would expect for something like this. Mm-hmm. But they did not do that here. Although, now that certain elements of the story exist, they could,
Yeah, for sure.
There's no reason, there's nothing stopping them. This character could now be Sam Witwicky's dad, maybe. Probably not gonna grow up to be the guy that it is in the first movies. But any character could secretly be Sam Witwicky's parent.
I have a quick question. I don't know if we're going to get to it when we get to the movie, but maybe this is quick because it's on topic. Is this guy, what the hell was his name? Noah?
Anthony Ramos, yes.
Noah. Is he a character in Transformers, or is he made up for this?
Probably made up for this.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
I don't
pin that for
know,
later.
but if I had to put money down, I would put a lot on made up for this.
Okay, cool. We'll pin that for later.
Like, there are characters in the cartoons that hang out with the Transformers. I don't know their names, but I'm going to guess if they have names, they're already the ones that have been used.
Right.
Like, it's Sam Witwicky and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm looking at, because there's Witwicky's for sure. Like an Alex, Carmine, Sorry. Yeah. So, I don't know. There is a character that does a thing that is the thing that he does in this. So that is not unprecedented in Transformers media. But, yeah, that character's probably new. But you guys, before we get to that, we got to talk about news.
Yes.
The news of the week, you guys.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel.
Oh, our boy.
He said they're friends. Him and Jason Momoa are friends.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to start another beef that leads to a sequel that doesn't have him in it.
Yeah, of course.
Even though that didn't really do super well, so what's the problem? But apparently a new one comes out April 4th, 2025. That was what he said.
That's my birthday.
The other day. Yeah.
That's amazing. Can we all go see it for your birthday?
I mean, it definitely isn't going to come out that day, but sure. We could schedule that. There's no way.
Why does only stuff like this come out on my birthday? What was the other birthday thing?
Morbius.
Right.
Morbius. That was the other one. We didn't make that happen, but this one we should make happen.
Yeah. But
I mean, Morbius, we were still kind of in the middle of a pandemic-ish, so.
That's right. And by 2025, who knows,
Pandemic 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
Or the dark red skies from all the poison air, but
That's right. Or Unicron, maybe.
Or Unicron.
We don't know where the skies got black from. We'll see. But yeah, Fast X Part 2, April 4th, 2025, apparently. It will probably be, I don't want to put delayed, but I think they're going to have to think some things about it because the new one is done at the movie theaters apparently 3 weeks after it came out. It is on, you can watch it on VOD. That is insane to me.
Yeah, it's a whole new world where it's just like a movie comes out and then give it no time at all, you can watch it at home.
A movie comes out, everyone realizes it's bad, and so they just put it on VOD.
Yeah,
right? Because like there's other
true.
stuff like Guardians that came out before this that is still not on VOD because it's good. But even Ant-Man wasn't very good, and that still probably took longer than this. I think certain studios like Universal seem to be more cool with this because also whatchamacallit, Super Mario also very quickly on VOD.
Well, I think Universal also has the agreement that, like, I forget what it is. I think, like, 45 days after their movie releases, it's on Peacock. So, like, that's it's a month and a half. It's like a quick-ish turnaround. So maybe they're like, maybe we could squeeze some dollars before it gets on Peacock and, sell it VOD.
Yeah, that makes sense. But it definitely doesn't hurt that this movie also kind of bombed. As far as the Fast and Furious movie has ever bombed, it made about $650 million worldwide, which is quite bad for these.
Wow, didn't even break a bill?
Not even close. Yeah, these usually do, or at least I know like 7 did. I think 8 did as well. Let's see. Fast 8 box office. And I know it's Fate. Yeah, 1.2 billion. For 9 box office, 726 million. However, that was one of the pandemic movies. That was in 2021. So not surprised that had like a low opening weekend.
Is it possible we're getting Fatigue?
Yes, I think so.
Undoubtedly.
I think Fatigue plus Fast, like, I think the movies are just not as good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe the AI will be able to turn it all around. I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't bet on it, but sure, why not?
Couldn't hurt.
Yeah.
I think the AI would probably be like, they should all be in the same room. That's a start. And then you'd go, AI, you crazy. Put them on.
Stop it, AI, you ridiculous, silly
Yeah, the
bitch.
AI would be like, absolutely not. They must be all in separate rooms the whole movie.
Yeah. I did see an article by Alan Richardson, who was quoted, Alan Richardson, Reacher, the biggest man alive.
Yeah, he said that Vin Diesel was a punk-ass bitch. And
no,
he's the only reason that the Fast franchise made any money.
He definitely could have said this. Like, it almost seems like he was trying to start a feud with Vin Diesel. The way he describes it, I'd like to see what he was saying. He apparently he talked on the Rich Eisen show about joining these movies. He says, I didn't watch any of the other ones, and I let Vin know. I go, hey man, I didn't really watch any of them. I watched the first one in high school, and now I just got the part. I've seen them all, and I love what you've been doing the last 2 decades. And Vin Diesel said, thank you. I appreciate that. And then Jack Reacher said, what would he say? Oh, he said, if somebody was like, thanks for having me on Reacher, I haven't watched any of Reacher, I'd be like, you're the stupidest. Why would you say that? And this dude is decades in. I'm an idiot. I like Alan Richardson. He's funny.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't have much else there.
What would you say to Vin Diesel if you got cast in a Fast and Furious movie?
I would get down on all fours and be like, thank you, you angel of a human being, you. I am honored. Thank you so much. I love you. You are my new god. Like I would. That's what I would say. I would grovel like no one's ever groveled before, basically. So.
I would say I've watched all these movies. I don't think they're any good, and I think you're a big part of why. But I'm a professional, so I'll do as good a job as I can.
How dare you?
You would have an Instagram post ready to go. You wouldn't even finish that sentence before the Instagram post about how you're actually not a member of the family anymore. It goes out.
I mean, what I would actually probably do is lie and be like, oh yeah, man, the Fast movies, great. Love them.
They're why I do what I do. They're why I get up in the morning.
And then
I have no meaning without these movies.
And then I would leak all the behind-the-scenes drama to all the press.
Oh my god, that's even worse.
Truly are a monster.
Vin Diesel would be so mad.
Yeah.
He would do an Instagram video with you.
If he can trace it back to me. Oh yeah, like that one where he's holding Justin Lin hostage.
Yeah, that one. It's me and Diggins. It's the family. We're having such a good time. We're making magic, right, Diggins?
Yeah, Vin. I
incredible stuff. All right, we'll see you guys in 22 months for a movie that definitely won't be released then with less budget.
Nando, the response you gave to Justin Lin's muted reaction was much more reasonable than Vin's, which was he started shouting. He was like, yeah!
It is incredible. That's what I would do if I was him in that situation. But yeah, I don't think we fit Fast fatigue as much as I think the movies are just worse.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Like, I think 7 was, everyone's favorite. It's not mine, but that 5, 6, 7 run is great.
It is.
And it's just been downhill ever since. I don't want to say it's because he's showboating, villains and stuff, but it certainly ain't helping. Ben, I'm on your side here.
No one should be bigger than you. Physically or metaphorically or anything. You're the biggest of them all.
Do you think it was his idea to have Groot be a kaiju just for a second so he could technically be the tallest character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
I love that. Oh my god.
Just so he could be on all those graphs.
He's not taller than the hand coming out of Antarctica or whatever.
Oh, that's true. He's not taller. Well, not yet. Yeah, knock on wood, spoiler alert for Guardians. If he did survive, maybe in the future he could come back into celestial mode. I don't know. Plus, that thing died. That thing did not survive its movie.
True.
Hey, I'm surprised. I wonder, would Vin Diesel be a good Galactus?
Right? I think so. And then he would get really mad, and people on Twitter talking about how they hate Galactus. They're really talking about Marvel Snap, and he'd be like, "You guys don't get Galactus."
Yeah, he would definitely. Yeah, he. I feel like. Well, I guess we know what the rumor is that Antonio Banderas is Galactus, so it seems like what they're going for is quite different. But I do kind of want to see this now. The Galactus that thinks he's the most important part of the movie and refuses to let the Fantastic Four actually be the stars. That's kind of fun. But you guys, speaking of a movie full of stars and cars and Galactus, we got to talk about not Fast Furious, Jesus, Transformers:
accurate.
Rise of the Beasts.
What movie we do? Yeah,
I don't know. It doesn't matter. Cars, Guys, Guns, Explode movie.
That's
sequel 10.
Is that
75% of the movies we do is what you just described.
Was that the new senility test?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I hate to break it to our viewers, we won't be doing an Asteroid City anytime soon. Sorry,
not.
guys.
Maybe you
I don't know,
won't be.
They have aliens, so they're on their way.
Ooh.
They just need cars and guns, and then maybe it can happen.
And Vin Diesel.
Well, not to spoil a later segment of this, but it's very possible that there are cars and guns in Asteroid City.
Oh my god, are we doing it for the pod now?
I mean, it takes place in America. You have to assume.
That's true.
And it's not like those movies don't also have a bunch of Marvel actors in them as well.
That's
Your
true.
ScarJos tend to be in those. I know she's in the new one. I'm assuming who else is in them. I don't know. Anybody else? People like
someone I could
Edward
mention.
Norton?
Edward Norton is in it. There's someone else I
Tilda
could mention,
Swinton?
but it would be kind of a spoiler, and it's
Hold
too
off
good.
then. All right.
Well, yeah, we got Tilda in there, so the
do have Tilda.
ancient
Ah,
one
Tilda
herself
Swinton, yep.
survives. Not survives, but she survives in another multiverse. That's how we'll just have to explain it, right? Every movie that's not in the Marvel Cinematic Universe but has an actor, this is that universe where instead the ancient one was just a lady who stands perfectly still in the center of camera for her whole life or whatever. And that's what we get. Pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah. So you guys, Transformers: Rise of the Beasts.
Yeah.
It came out
It's a
last
movie.
week. It's a is it a hit? I want to say it's a relative hit. It has to be because my theaters were pretty crowded.
Yeah, I know. I was in a packed theater.
Yeah.
And can I say, a good theater, a well-behaved theater. Everyone was really cool. I was so happy.
Well, all the beasts were on screen. You couldn't. The
Yeah.
rabble rousers and they would in the other movie they're in the audience, but they were on the screen. Yeah. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know why. If I Googled it, it doesn't come out. Okay, box office.
It looks like it did about as well as they were expecting, so it wasn't like a unbelievable hit, but it's like doing good.
Yeah. Has this released in China yet? That's a big part of it usually.
I'm only looking at United States and Canada here.
Yeah, because they ruined it. Because they destroyed Box Office Mojo. This information is a lot harder
they really
to find.
did.
But yeah, I would have to assume this is going to do pretty well overall. And it looks like it hasn't opened in China yet. Yeah. On this list, it is not. It opened in Hong Kong. Oh, it's something. Made $1 million. Ooh, pretty good.
Oh!
So, it's off
Let's
to a
go.
strong start. Hong Kong market's looking solid. Yeah. America is also looking pretty solid. 61 million opening weekend. Good.
All right.
That's what movies you expect a movie to do. And yeah, it'll probably be on Peacock in 20 minutes. Everybody get your Peacocks out and see if it's on yet.
No. Paramount Plus, Nando.
Oh.
Don't get your streaming
nothing
services
goes there.
confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's favorite, Paramount Plus.
The one for people who loved Star Trek as kids and don't have a choice, so they have to use Paramount Plus. It seems to be what the deal is with that.
I don't think you're wrong, weirdly enough.
And adult and people, because is that where Yellowstone lives?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so dads and people who like Star Trek as kids. And to be fair, I hear Star Trek. Some of the Star Trek is very good that they have on there. I haven't watched it.
Oh.
But yeah, so DJ
Hi.
Diggins is the IMDb's.
Yes, he is.
So
Yes.
DJ, me and you get to compete, much like the
Yes, we do.
Optimals or the Maximals and the Predacons, I guess. I don't know.
Sure.
Over who gets to hold the maximum victory stick thing.
Yeah, seriously.
And Diggins, would you like to tell us what we're about to do, what happens and stuff?
Right, so in this little podcast, we play a little game called the IMDb, B as in spelling bee. It is a game where my two esteemed co-hosts have to try to guess what the summary for this movie is on IMDb.com. Now, you may be wondering to yourself, where do those summaries on IMDb.com come from? Well, I'll tell you. Back in 1947... when the U.S. and the other allies were occupying Berlin after the end of World War II, a group of American soldiers digging through some rubble, helping to do some cleanup and reconstruction, found a microfilm from Hitler's bunker. When they brought it back to headquarters to be read, the code breakers in West Berlin determined that somehow Hitler had uncovered the summary for every movie that would be released for the next 150 years. Now, at the time, it was hard for them to figure that out because it seemed like just a bunch of nonsense. But as movies started coming out, and there started to be summaries that were sometimes accurate and sometimes not, for all of the movies that came out, they realized that Hitler may have cracked time travel at the tail end of the war, but couldn't figure out how to use it for any application besides reading future movie summaries before Nazi Germany was overrun. But still, the U.S. government packed this away and put it in the vault where they kept the Ark of the Covenant from raiders, etc. Until a few decades ago, when John IMDb, who was working as like a cataloger for the warehouse of government secrets, found the Hitler canister with the microfilm containing all the summaries of movies. And he stole it and made off with it and used it to make his fortune at the website named after himself, imdb.com. So, I have the summary that was etched onto the microfilm created by Adolf Hitler himself.
Wow.
So you're going to read the Hitler information, Diggins, to us.
For Transformers Rise of the Beasts. I'm not going to read it to you yet, though, because first you guys have to guess.
Right.
And I'm going to give you a little hint. Give you a little,
I'll take
hint
a
on
hint.
this one.
Please.
Quite short.
Really?
Quite short.
Ooh,
Interesting.
Did not have that on my
Yeah, I was
bingo
writing
card.
a little essay over here. All right, DJ goes first. I get to decide.
Well, DJ... Oh, yes,
Yeah.
you get to decide, so...
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think I'm going to try and figure out who the movie thinks the main character is, and then base it off that. So, with that being said, Optimus Prime must team up with an unlikely hero, Optimus Prime must team up with an unlikely hero in Noah. No. Okay, for real. Optimus Prime and the Autobots must stop the devastating Unicron from destroying Earth with some ancient friends that he must team up with.
Okay.
That's my summary.
I'm in largely the same boat in terms of like where I want to go with this. I do think mine will be different enough so that it won't be a complete mess for Diggins, but get that tiebreaker ready. I'm going to say the Autobots and the Maximals need to team up to stop Scourge and Unicron from destroying Earth and the universe.
This is tough.
Damn it! I hate when
we
it's
both
tough.
did so.
You both did okay.
Oh,
Honestly, I like a good okay.
that's like what I like to hear. I mean, I don't love it that Hitler wrote it, but otherwise, I think it did
Yeah,
pretty well.
it's true.
Very impressed. Something about the writing. I guess you got this one.
Yeah, so it's...
Do you have a tiebreaker?
I have one that I had ready. So why don't I bust that out?
Okay.
So this movie is vaguely based on Beast Wars, the iteration of Transformers from the 90s. However, the villains are from a different Transformers thing, and the villains of Beast Wars, the Predacons, are almost entirely absent. There is precisely one Predacon in this movie. Can either of you name that Predacon?
I mean, it's Nando's if he could.
Is there a Predacon in this? Hold on.
There is precisely one.
Precisely one. I mean, my guess for the Predacon, I don't remember what any of the bad guys' names are. I'm pretty sure Scourge is not a Predacon. So my guess for the Predacon is Air Razor, just because I don't remember her from the show.
No, Air Razor was always a Maximal. DJ.
Like the other ones are all good guys.
DJ, I will accept if you just say a robot that appeared in this movie, which one you think is a Predacon. I will accept that as an answer.
All right.
What does that mean? Wait a second.
I don't have to say its name.
Like he'll be like the one that was this or the one that did this. That's what I mean. Like you just have to tell me which robot that appeared in this movie you think is a Predacon.
The only one I can imagine. Okay, so let me. I'm talking this out, and then I'll give my final answer. So it's not the three. It's not the any of the Beast Wars guys. I'm assuming, and again, I'm not answering it. I'm assuming it's not the little guys because they're not a thing. So I'm trying to think, what were the other animals in this? Oh my god. Wait, I just have to describe it. I don't have to give you the name.
Correct.
Was it the Scorpion guys?
That is correct.
What?
Nice.
The Scorpions were, according to the production, meant to be Scorponok.
That's bullshit. They're not Scorponok. Not even close. No.
I'm sorry.
I refuse.
Nando's not accepting this.
That's not Scorponok.
According to the people who made the movie, the Scorpions are Scorponok.
Since when? Why?
I don't know.
Scorpions before. And also...
Yeah, in the first movie there's a Scorpion. I thought they were the same guys.
The first movie had a Scorpion, that's right. Yeah. It was part of the big helicopter for some reason.
Yeah.
This is madness. Can't believe they said that's
I only feel a little bad because you didn't give Nando the same out that all you had to do was describe it.
That's true, Diggins. You didn't do that.
Would you have said the Scorpion?
I mean, if you told it to me like that, I would have assumed it's a character I don't know the name of based on the movie, and I probably would have gotten a little bit more creative with it. That's how it would have changed the way I answered. I don't even know if I would have answered the Scorpion. I probably would have tried to figure out which one of the Decepticons didn't have a name that was like Plain Man or something, but I don't remember what they were. But I wouldn't have said the Scorpion because it's bullshit. That's why.
Would I? Diggins, was my summary? Is this enough of a tiebreaker, or do we need to go to some kind of weird golden ball?
I mean, you got it right, DJ. So I feel like
that's true. Screw you, Nando. I win. Haha.
This is awful. I believe that this makes sense as what Hitler would want. Is this injustice? I understand why this gels with what he has done, I guess. This is insane.
I gave DJ that out because DJ completely gave up and said, I will never be able to name a Transformer. So I was like, fine, just tell me who it is.
See, Nando, do what I do and drop expectations to below zero. That's all you have to do. That's my secret. Also, to our entire audience listening, this applies to you as well. Just take those expectations and plummet them. Tank them. Don't try. Give up.
Anyway, here's the actual summary, which neither of you got the wording for right, but you both hit on the essential idea that it conveys.
Nice.
Or we're both missing ideas that it conveyed. During the 90s, a new faction of Transformers, the Maximals, joined the Autobots as allies in the battle for Earth.
Okay.
I mean, it's wrong, but...
Fair. Yeah, also that.
But you guys both did the basic, the Maximals and the Autobots team up to fight good to be good guys.
Yeah.
Which is
Surprised
the basic shit.
Surprised there's no mention of Unicron because they just give that conceit up at the beginning of the movie, so this is interesting.
Yeah, it's not in any of the trailers. It's like...
Yeah.
It feels like they're keeping it a secret, but then the beginning of the movie is like, Unicron is here.
Yeah. Well, I guess I get to say what I think of this movie, right?
Well, first, our esteemed loser, Nando, has to tell us what happens in this movie.
I'm just looking up to see if they're actual Predacons, because according to the Wikipedia, they are not. Predacon is never used in the film, and aside from their barely seen Beast-era Predacon insignias on their backs, the group's existence can only be conferred from Scourge having 2 of them. Given that Scourge's shtick is harvesting insignias from defeated enemies of Unicron, it seems unlikely the Scorponok's would be classified as sentient members of a different faction. So...
What I meant by that was that there was representation of a Predacon from Beast Wars. Not that the Scorponok in this movie is literally a Predacon.
I don't think that are the words that came out of your mouth, and therefore, I don't think I lost. I think the Scorpion guys are different guys, and it's definitely... because it's weird, because there's also Decepticon Scorpions. Like... Even the idea that it's just a scorpion, and you're like, it could be anything. It's so weird. I don't like it.
But they didn't say it was a Predacon, but they did say that that's supposed to be like a Scorponok. Like, that guy's in the movie because of Scorponok. You know what I mean?
I buy that, but then I don't know. Like, Scorponok is not always a Predacon, I believe. Perhaps. I'm looking this up now.
This is the upset of the century. This is the Miami Heat beating the Bucks. This is, all of the sports things goes. Messi going to Inter Miami. That happened, by the way. How'd that miss our news?
Yeah, that's true. And golf is all bad now.
And now golf is bad, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, Saudis, if you're listening, you can buy us out. Like, that's totally on the table if you want to buy us out.
So it seems like the original Scorponok in the G1 cartoon was called the Transector. It's unclear if he is even, but I don't know what he's supposed to be. This is really confusing. There's too many cartoons and stuff to like have a consistent continuity. It's definitely, there was a Scorpion in Beast Wars, right? I'm not crazy about that.
Yeah, there was a Scorpion called Scorponok. In Beast Wars.
There was a Scorpion, yeah. I don't think that... I think the difference is this character predates the Beast Wars show, which was when the Maximals and Predacons were created, I'm guessing. It may have come in a comic before that or something. So, he was something else first. So, the idea that he is a Scorpion... I don't know if he's a Predacon or not. Also, it's pretty funny. This Wikipedia is pretty funny. But... I will summarize the movie anyway. It's like, because it must be done, because the people need to hear about this movie. But I'm not happy with it. And if Transformers fans can write in and tell us if Scorponok is a Predacon or not, you let me know.
Well, I don't think that is whatever. It doesn't matter.
The way the question was asked, it seems like it would. I don't know. This is
Scorponok is a Predacon. Whether he was a Predacon first or... whether there are other versions of Predacons or other versions of Scorponok does not invalidate that Scorponok is a Predacon.
But it does invalidate whether Scorponok is a Predacon in this movie, and if there is a Predacon in this movie. That is what I'm saying there. It would be like, I'm trying to think of a good analogy. I can't think of anything. It seems like he is a Terracon. It seems like that is the group that this Scorponok belongs to. And the Terracons are their own obviously the Terracons are their own thing, because we get a little bit of it in this movie, although it's kind of I'm still not completely sure what they are in this. Like,
I mean, they're just like Unicron's guys, right?
Well, so was Scourge a Decepticon turned Terracon, or was he a Terracon? Because we have that like little insignia patch that he carries around of everybody else's insignia. But like, I didn't get to look at his insignia or any insignia he had. So like, is a Terracon the name for a converted whatever, but like you're on Unicron's team, or is that it's something different? I don't know, but it's interesting.
The Scorponok toy for the movie toy line is called a Predacon.
I don't like it, but that's as good as I feel like we've gotten so far.
And they have like Beast era Predacon insignias on their backs.
Why? That doesn't make any sense. Because even if they... Wait, so then maybe you do get your... Anyway, okay, Predacons. They are from the 90s. Manga Mecha... Wait, no, now I'm on the... Wait, what? This is really confusing.
Nando cannot take this one. He will not accept this.
Is confusing. I'm just saying.
Oh!
It doesn't seem like a decisive victory.
I feel like that's the summary right there. Transformers is confusing.
So, the Predacons are a group of 5 Decepticons under the command of Galvatron. And they... Wait, what? Oh, man. Okay, anyway, we're just gonna get through this. So, the movie is about the kid. He's a human kid. He has problems. He's poor. His kid brother... He's a kid. He's like in his 30s, this kid. But, like, he lives at home. He did army. His brother is... He's got, like, sickle cell or something?
Yeah, seems like it.
Yeah. And he's like, gotta go to the hospitals a lot. So this guy is poor. He does electricity, or he does, like, programming-y stuff, because that's what every main character in these movies has some sort of... Not everyone, but a lot of them have some sort of, like, Transformers-adjacent skill. Charlie was, like, a little mechanic, gearhead... Sam was nothing, but like every so often, you know, like Cade Yeager was an inventor, etc., etc. So he goes, I guess I skipped the beginning part. In the beginning, Scourge is a guy, and this takes place in the past, future?
I think this is in the past?
Yeah.
This movie is so confusing.
Any information to send us one way or the other, but either way. In the past, Scourge came looking for the new thing, just like the big orange thing, key of
transwarp key, yeah.
And it's being guarded by the Maximals, led by Optimus Primal, but not at that point, led by some other monkey guy. I can't remember. Did he get a name?
Ape Link.
No, he didn't. Ape Link?
Ape Link with a Q.
Like Ape Lincoln?
Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
So Ape Link is the main guy, and he has a little baby, I guess, that is Optimus Primal. Which is weird, because I feel like Prime is usually a, like, designation given to the leader of the group.
Yeah, so maybe
that's how I understood it.
Maybe that wasn't his name, and that was... Because he calls him Optimus Primal when he's like, you're gonna be in charge now. So maybe that's him giving him that name?
Yeah, maybe he's Ape Link Primal, and then Optimus becomes... Optimus Primal. But yeah, so the Maximals are living out their life on this planet that's like Earth but Saturn, and it gets eaten by Unicron, and at the last possible second, they're able to escape, and they go to Earth with their little key. And that one Ape Lincoln sacrifices himself and dies at the hands of Scourge, who is like, he's a Transformer, but we're back to this like Transformers are just big guys that walk around and stuff, as opposed to like, he's a car.
Does he?
Played by Peter Dinklage. Really weird.
Does he ever turn into a car? I feel like there's one chase scene where he's a car, right?
There is the chase scene, and he can transform in wherever they are in Peru. I guess the issue is like usually, sometimes at least, you can kind of tell what the guy is based on what he looks like as a person. He's got wings on his back or wheels on his legs or something, and you can make out which one is which. And I think the Autobots and Maximals, obviously, they're weird, but like the Autobots do that pretty well in these. And like they've turned into the G1 designs, and it's great. The Decepticons and the Predacons apparently still have not, where they all still look like big gray spiky guys. Yeah. So every so often they'll have a color associated with them, like the flying one does in this. But like, yeah, he just looks like the Fallen or from 2, or the bad guy from 4. Who's got a big gun for a face. Hound, I think was his name. Where it's like, he probably transforms, but like, he's barely a transformer. He has a big claw that he can use to like rip your heart out. And also, we'll learn, he has the touch of death.
Yeah, but he doesn't use it very often.
Nope. And it has to be something he uses actively, and he doesn't have to touch you. But like...
He has goo he can fire at you that makes you evil.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a once per day skill.
That's probable. And this movie takes place over a very short amount of time, except for the air travel, I guess. But it's one of those movies where we're just running from location to location. So that all happens in the past or future, who knows? And then we go to Noah. Right, so Noah, kid, played by Hamilton, Baby Hamilton. I don't know this actor. Anthony Ramos? Yeah.
Of In the Heights fame.
Of In the Heights fame, soon to be the villain of Ironheart, the hot new thing in Hollywood today. He is a guy, like I said, army, sad, poor, good with computers, nice, but on the border of a life of crime because his friend, a character whose name is Reek, apparently, keeps wanting to get him to do crimes. This character is played by an actor who is also a musician who sings the song at the end of the movie. So there's that. And he's like, come do crimes with me. And Noah's like, I don't want to do crimes because I'm going straight and I have a job interview because I need to get money for my brother's surgery, or not surgery, but like, stuff.
His healthcare, because the world is a nightmare.
Yeah, it's so funny at the end when they offer him that as like, we'll get to it. But, so he tries to do a job interview, doesn't do it because he's got a record that's like, you don't work well with others, you're not a good team player, and also maybe racism. It's hard to tell, but you get that in the beginning of like this, like he's kind of a loose cannon or he's not a good team player.
We never really learn what he did or what happened that makes that be the case.
It's very vague on purpose, I guess.
Yep, he was Cuban Missile Crisis. Well, no, he's too young for Cuban Missile Crisis. Iran-Contra. He was doing all the actual running of the weapons.
Oh, that would make him a great team player then, that he was willing to do something so stupid and dangerous.
Yeah.
But it would make sense that Ronald Reagan would throw him under the bus.
Yeah. He's like, doesn't get this job, needs a little bit of cash, does, like I said, does repairing of like little radios and stuff. So he goes to Reek, and Reek's like, hey, we're going to steal a car. It'll be really easy. You'll walk through the back of the kitchen and then just be there. And they do that, and he finds a nice fancy little Porsche. And
he's a fool because the Autobot symbol's right there on the hood of the car, and he just keeps on going.
Yeah, I mean,
doesn't pay in any mind.
This is a new continuity where the Autobot symbol doesn't mean anything to him.
Listen. You see that on a car, you're like, I don't know.
You'd be
I
like,
don't know this thing.
But maybe you'd be like, oh, it's like a custom symbol. This is like Jay-Z's new symbol that's going to be on all his cars, and that's who I'm stealing this from. I don't know.
Or maybe some other famous singer that gets referenced in this movie shortly.
Like I said they would last week, and look at me.
Honestly, like, I heard that line, and I was like, Nando predicted this 100%.
I stood up and clapped. And it's weird because they don't do exactly what I wanted them to do, which was say he's a bad actor, but they almost do it. But yeah, so he steals the car, but it turns out the car is alive, and it's Pete Davidson. His name is Mirage. It can make 2 or 3 cars, holograms and stuff, as part of its deal. He is...
Is he a previous Transformer, or was that for the movie?
I'm sure the Transformer exists. He's never been in these before, unless very briefly. Honestly, that does seem like a gimmick that's been in these before, though. So maybe he has in, like, Transformers 3.
I was looking stuff up. I think he is, like, a really minor character in some of the other movies, but he's never been like important.
Yeah, he was in Dark of the Moon.
Okay.
And he has an Italian accent, sure, because he's a Lamborghini. They have to have accents. That's how you do it.
That's how you know. That's how you know the race of the car.
Like Hot Rod.
Well, exactly. Well, it's interesting because he also hangs out with what's his name, Wheeljack in that movie as well, and Sideswipe. But yeah. So we get Wheeljack in this one as well. But anyway, so he hangs out. So the car is Pete Davidson, and he's very friendly. He's like, hey, buddy, you're cool. Let's be friends. Also, at that moment, something happens that makes Mirage go like, I gotta go meet Optimus. What happens is, on the other side of the town or whatever, Dominic Fishback's Swarm Zone is like a little, like, not intern, but like she's working for no, she's an intern.
I think
right?
they literally say intern.
Yeah, that's shorthand for intern. So she's an intern at a museum doing art restoration / art or ancient archaeology and like figuring out where stuff came from. They just get boxes of shit, and she looks at it and goes, China or whatever. And the police sometimes come and say, hey, is this real? And she says no, and then that's pretty cool.
But she says no to her boss, who then goes to the police and is like, I figured it out with my big brain.
Yeah, boss is a jerk.
Like all bosses ever.
Yeah, because the movie is cool. And she's like, and she's getting, like, she's in that specific, like, oh, I'm getting passed over for promotion space just enough that that's going to motivate her to do something dumb later. Not dumb, because it's cool, but it's like, yeah. So she's doing that. They get a fancy urn that looks like the kind of things mummies would get their organs in, but she's like, that doesn't look right. Something's up with that. It's got a weird symbol on it, and it's... What we will learn is the Maximal symbol, but also there's like a little hieroglyphic on it. And, so she's like, that's weird. Later in the day, she goes to work late and just starts doing shit with it, and it explodes into a big, like, glowing orange thing. And that's pretty funny, because, like, she's so fucked. She's going to jail, probably. But it's fine, because she actually uncovered a piece of the transwarp key, and Optimus... That made a big sky beam. Optimus was like, guys, we gotta go. It's the transwarp key. Because the Autobots needed to get home to Cybertron.
Yes.
I don't know why they can't just use ships, but I guess maybe they could.
Right. Maybe a different galaxy or something.
It seems like ships were how they got there. But yeah. So, yeah.
It's very
so they're
far
like,
away, as I understand it.
That makes sense. So we get the key, we can go home. Home being a place that in the last movie we found out was destroyed by the Decepticons and like fully fucked. We don't want to go there. But
right, but that was the old continuity. This is the new continuity.
Well, that was the Bumblebee continuity, right? Like, they evacuate as the whole planet is getting absolutely run over by Megatron and all of Megatron's goons, and they all leave or die. So, like, going back to Cybertron feels like you're gonna die there too, Optimus. There's 4 of you, but I don't know, I guess he knew that they were all looking for him, so if I go home, they're all gone. So he does that, so the big sky beam. So Mirage goes and meets Optimus, RC, Bumblebee. So those are the only 4 that are there at that time. Yeah. And they're like, Optimus is mad because he doesn't like people, and he's like, you shouldn't have brought a human. And Pete Davidson's like, I'm Pete Davidson. He's my friend. We like to talk about current records and stuff, and like Wu-Tang Clan, all that shit. Pete Davidson's kind of known for. And then they go. And then they're also like, but if you want me to steal this artifact, it's probably better to have a guy walk into a building and steal it than have a Transformer just run through the whole building. Even though, like, it's not. Just fucking drive through the building as a truck and get it and leave. Who cares? Why does this matter to you, Optimus?
Yeah.
You're not gonna hang out. You don't need to stay in disguise. It's fine. They go try to steal this thing from this building. That's where they run into... what is her name? What is Swarm's name? Elena. That's where they run into Elena. And then everybody fights everybody. Bumblebee dies. Scourge is there. And Bumblebee is dead, you guys. Keep holding his body around just in case, but he's dead. And
I mean, if you're like Autobots and robots, it feels like, discarded the body.
Oh, no,
you might be able to use parts and stuff.
None of these guys ever stayed. Yeah, 100%. I mean, another one dies, and then they fix him by just using mechanics. Like, they just go, if we reconnect this to this and this, I think we can get him going again. And it works, so fuck it. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they do save the body, so they listen to you, DJ.
I'm just saying, like, it's crazy. It's crazy that they have this big giant fight in the thing, and I'm like, well, they can't leave the body, but also, like, someone picking it up, throwing it over their shoulder, and just walking with it. I guess maybe they could put it on the back of Optimus's truck, but, like, it's a whole big guy.
I get it.
Whatever. Either way, they have a fight. They lose. What's his name gets the machine thingy, but then they're like, but you don't need. It's only half of the machine. Because then Michelle Yeoh, Air Racer, shows up, breathes fire, and then Scourge is like, oh, good, it's these idiots. I can use them because they have the other part of the machine, so I have to follow them and get it. Optimus is like, okay, listen, 2 of you people, Noah and the other one whose name I forgot, you guys can be friends and be part of our team, but also I hate you because I'm racist against people, and Noah's like, good, because I hate you, I'm racist against Transformers, and by the way, secretly Swarm, let's break the key when they get it, because they're going to use it to, like, destroy this whole planet, pretty much. And you know what? Good point, Noah. Could have saved everybody a lot of trouble. But
yeah, I agree.
Whatever. Bumblebee's still dead. They call the one who's an big old ship, like a big old plane. He's got a mustache. I don't remember this one's name. It's not the one who was a plane in the second one. Stratosphere, right, yeah. And then... where do they go? They go to Peru. They go to a festival. Someone explained this movie as being like Rise of Skywalker, and I was kind of like, that is probably not true. It is a lot like Rise of Skywalker. And they go do that scene from Rise of Skywalker where they go to the festival and sneak around to do Indiana Jones shit. And that's pretty much what they do. They turn some things that makes a big thing open. Oh, also, Wheeljack gives Noah big kind of basically a toy that you can buy in stores now, I'm sure, that fits over his wrist that he's like, here, use this. It's a
Wheeljack doesn't
flashlight.
do that. Mirage does.
Not Wheeljack, God, yeah, Mirage. This is where they meet Wheeljack, but yeah, Mirage does that. He's like, hey, use this, it's a thing. And he doesn't tell him what it is, but he kind of assumes it's a flashlight. And before everybody had phones, so that's handy. It's where do they go next? Yeah, they go into the thing, do Indiana Jones. Also, what's his name? Scourge has little spider thingies that he shoots at you, and those follow them and do a little horror movie in the Indiana Jones. While that's going on, all the Autobots fight all the Predacons in the light of day. Basically, they all just fall down a hill together. It's pretty cute. Some of them are still trying to do car stuff, and it's like, just fall down the hill, you guys. That's what we're doing. Scourge manages to shoot Air Razor with, like we're saying, this like goo that turns you bad, and he's like, I'm gonna use that to find the Maximals, and then we'll be good. Now, they don't know where the Maximals are. They kind of figure it out. But also, like, I was kind of confused about this. Air Razor doesn't know where the rest of them are, right?
No, it seems like there were other Maximals besides the 4 we see.
Right,
and when they got to Earth after escaping Unicron, they decided to split the transwarp key in half and, like, to go form 2 groups. And those groups went and did their own thing without knowing what the other one was going to do to help keep the key safe.
Classic.
So my question is, Scourge is like, I'll find them. I'll put a tracker on Air Razor. Air Razor doesn't know where they are. None of them do.
I don't
Why
think
did the Maximals find them?
Well, Scourge, I don't think knows that in his defense. So
no, he doesn't. Yeah, you would assume they do know where each other are. But how did the Maximals even find our guys?
The real answer to that question is, of course, because it's convenient for the plot.
Okay, yeah.
I guess one could say maybe they set something up in that tunnel where they originally hit it, because Optimus Primal is like, what were you doing in that tunnel?
That's true.
So I guess that's what we're to assume?
I guess, like, Cheetor could have, like, hidden in the forest and always been watching that tunnel just in case. So as we went in, it was like, all right, we're doing
That's what he was doing
stuff.
Instead of having lines in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they do a big fight. Like I said, Wheeljack is there. Wheeljack is a VW bus. RC is a little motorcycle one. RC's interesting because RC, like, rides people. Like, she gets in the VW bus like it's a regular car.
Yeah, right?
Like, getting piggyback rides from Transformers.
She's kind of small for a Transformer because she's a lady.
Oh, sure. It's just a little... It's just, like... Whenever I think of what the Transformers are, the idea that one of them is using the other one as a car, I find strange. But yeah, she is the smallest of the Transformers, and she's only a little, like, a motorcycle, so yeah, you could easily fit in. Looks great, by the way. Like, fantastic. I think Optimus was in the last movie. He looked good. I never liked the look of Bumblebee, but whatever. But RC's one of those ones where it's like, everybody knows what she looks like, and they put her in one of these, and it looked bad, and then they did her in this, and it looks great.
I mean, they all look a lot better than they used to.
Sure, I don't love the look of Mirage. He just kind of looks like a Bayformer, but a little less business. RC looks like the color of RC is just so it really pops. Makes the Predacons look like trash the Maximals look like trash when we meet them, because we're about to. The Maximals show up and they're like, "Hey, we're supposed to have the thing. Also, we're friends with people, and the thing is somewhere else, and you can't have it." And Optimus is like, "No, we need to have it so we can go home." Basically, the Optimus Primal, the monkey one, is like, "Hey, I'm from the future. I'm named after you, and also the past and stuff." And Optimus is like, "Whoa, man, that's crazy. We live in a whole thing of Energon. There's Energon all over here. Here, put Bumblebee now and some of the Energon." Also, Air Razor's like wigging out a little bit. Nobody quite knows what's going on with her. Optimus Primal has to choke her to death. They don't put her on some Energon, apparently, but whatever. There's only one Energon bed. So then they go like, we gotta get the thing. Scourge shows up and steals it, I think. It's probably, I don't remember how Scourge gets it, but Scourge ends up getting both pieces of the thing. And what's her name? Dominique Fishback is like, oh, there's a symbol that was on both of their little beds and like the machine, the pot that it was in. That's probably the shutoff code that you need, because what Scourge wants to do is turn on a big portal that lets Unicron come through, because like I explained in the last one of these, he's Galactus and he just wants to eat the whole planet. Yum, yum, yum. And he needs this transwarp key to do that. And he's Galactus from Transformers, or from Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. Big evil cloud with a circle hole kind of thing that's going to use to eat it. So then they do the end of the movie. there's a big fucking giant thing and lots of guys, apparently Scorponok's there, and everybody fights together. Transformers, Optimus is now friends with the people because he loves them so much and they love each other so much. Mirage dies. It kind of. Yeah, almost. And as he's dying, he's like, by the way, I says this to Noah. The line is, what is it? It's like, I want you to take the wheel or something like that. And Noah puts on a robot suit of Transformer skin, basically, and gets turned into a little mini Transformer guy.
It's like an Iron Man suit, really. He gets to wear an Iron Man suit.
I mean, not to spoil anything, it reminded me a lot of the suits from that first G.I. Joe movie, where they wore Iron Man suits, because it was an Iron Man knockoff. Now, that's different, and it's completely disconnected. And like I said, the kids did do that in the show, in the original Transformers show. This has happened, but...
Oh, so this wasn't made up for the movie. Like, no. This has happened. Okay.
I mean, I'm sure a guy was just like, what if one of the guys was a Transformer for years and years and years, and eventually someone let him, and they were like, by the way, this did happen in the show. It looks weird. That guy fights with Optimus, and they fight Scourge, and they beat up Scourge. They throw him into some lava. The Predacons and the Maximals fight too, and they all fight. And then Autobots and the Maximals are friends now. They blow up the big thing. Unicron goes away. And then Optimus sacrifices himself, but then everybody comes back and saves him. Oh yeah, Bumblebee's alive. He jumps out of the plane.
Because he was on the Energon bed, and Energon, like charcoal, needs to be activated before it has health benefits.
That's right. Yeah, yeah, that's right. And yeah, when they turned on this stupid thing, all the Energon got purple. Including the bed Bumblebee was on, and the one the Eraser was near but not on, I guess, so it doesn't count. Remember when there's an end thing, and it's like, who's gonna come save Optimus? It's like, the bird, right? She's back. She's gotta come back.
Unfortunately, activated Energon doesn't get rid of evil goo, so if we brought her back, she'd still be evil.
Plus, she's busy, you know? Michelle Yeoh's very in demand these days. Bumblebee also, his voice box is still broken, wouldn't you believe it? It says all kinds of little quotes from movies and stuff. It's still fucking... I hate it.
No, I love it. I actually like
it. Hate it. At the end of the movie, there was also a bit where they were started to say names over comms. That was the thing. And it was like a bit. So like Noah said his name. And so it's the end of the movie. The Earth is saved. Noah's going to jail for life, but he's not. He should be.
Yeah, right.
Because there's a lot of shit that he did. And he gets a job interview from a guy in a factory that makes, as far as I can tell, Italy or something. I guess we're trying to figure out what this was too. But all I could tell was every so often you look at the wall and there's a big picture of Italy. And this guy, Mr. Stampler from House of Cards, played by Michael Kelly, is like, hey, you're a good guy, Noah. Wouldn't you like to join us? Also, I know you did Transformer stuff. And then he's like, I'll help maybe join you. Oh, and he's like, when you like to join us and your secret friends. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Great. We'll pay for your brother's health care. He won't even need to pay a bill. Wouldn't that be a dream? An incredible fantasy dream. And then he goes, yeah, that would be pretty sick. And then Mr. Stapler pushes a thing or something, and the wall turns into it wasn't even a wall. It's a door to a big hangar with one big thing in it, and that's it. And he's like, we're the new guys, so... we're going to be cool and stuff. And then, does anybody want to say it?
I mean, we already kind of said it.
Yeah, he looks at his little note card, and it has the little G.I. Joe symbol. It says, G.I. Joe, what's that? And then the movie ends. But then there's also a post-credit scene, which I was not expecting. That feels like the post-credit scene. But the post-credit scene is, Reek and Noah are apparently still friends, even though Reek fucked Noah over big time. But he rebuilt Mirage, and Mirage is still alive, which is insane to me. But hey, whatever. Might as well. That's pretty much the end of it. I don't think there's that. They destroy the key. They can't go home. Optimus is on Earth. He's like, we're home now.
This is their home.
Yeah.
There's probably thousands and thousands of more Autobots here that we don't know. Like Ratchet and Jazz and
all the other Maximals that don't count, apparently. Rat Trap, Dinobot, we talked about them before.
Grimlock's probably coming back at some point.
Yeah, the Dinobots, the Insecticons, the Constructicons, whatever we need for the next one, they'll be back. Yeah. Are any of them snakes? It's probably the snake ones are going to be the bad guys in the next one, right? They'll team up with the other snake ones.
Beast Wars?
Serpicons?
So, I don't know, because this is, like, you'd say, like, Serpentor. That's a Transformers villain, right? Nope, G.I. Joe villain.
Yeah.
So...
Well, that's because they're all snakes in that thing. The whole thing is snakes.
So there was a snake transformer. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Cobra Commander gets his own spot on the Transformers wiki. That's not a great sign, is it?
Get ready.
If you
There's a
Google snake
Predacon.
transformer.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
There's a Predacon who is a combination of a scorpion and a snake called Quick Strike.
Okay. So yeah, that guy will be the bad guy in the next one, probably. And he'll probably just be a snake. Although, according to this, there's a set of Old Snake with Advanced Stealth Bat Duo. So this is a Transformers and G.I. Joe thing. And Old Snake is Cobra Commander in, like, a fucking trench coat and hat, like the Thing wears when he wants to go out in the town. And then the Stealth Bat Duo is just two random-ass planes. But so, this is a thing that's happened before, I guess. It's kind of adorable. I like his little hat. That's the end of it. There's a lot of songs and
so many bangers.
That's the Power of Friendship and stuff. Like I said, we didn't name them. The Maximals are Optimus Primal, Rhinox, Cheetor, and Air Razor. And Air Razor dies. I don't think there's any others, right?
No, they kept it light for this
there's
one.
There's only the 4 Maximals.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
And I guess Dinobot wouldn't make sense because Dinobot's bad guy turned good guy. So you need like more. You need actual Predacons to be in this.
If you're going to make a movie where you're like it's the Beast Wars one, but actually it's not, and they're barely in it, then Dinobot is a lot for you to explain.
Yeah. However, Rat Trap, Cool and Tough, and Little Rat Guy, they could have done it, but they're cowards. And I think part of it is because he's just Rocket Raccoon again, and they didn't want to do that. And also partially it's because he's small and he could walk through all those hallways like the Transformers couldn't.
We even need fucking humans.
And then also a lot to explain because her story's kind of complex, but also one of the best ones, Black Arachnia, not here.
Yeah. She's also a bad guy turned good guy, right?
She's actually a good guy turned bad guy turned good guy.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, she's a cool looking one. I remember her. I went back and watched. Did you guys watch like any of the old like theme song and stuff?
No.
Oh.
Probably should.
Well, because after you see it, you're like, I'm pretty sure that was the theme song for Transformers Beast Wars in there. And I had to go check, and I watched the intro bit again. So
Beast Wars.
Yeah, that's the whole movie, though. That's it mostly, right? Is there anything else?
No, I think you got it, man.
That's like a half hour. Jesus. All right, you guys.
It's getting longer and longer.
I know. The movie never ends. DJ, what'd you think of this movie?
All right, so I like this movie. I don't think it's like amazing, but like in terms of like an entertaining movie with like good fight scenes that I could see, except for the Terracons are still gray, which is not great. But right, that's what they're called, right?
Terracons,
the bad guys?
Yeah. Okay. Just sounds wrong. But like I think that this movie is super confusing. But if you just sit back and kind of be like, oh, I gotta go get that thing that's in that place, it's cool. And the fight scenes are good. Like, I don't think this is an excellent movie, but I think it's an enjoyable one. And I think that's good enough for where we're at with Transformers. It's weird because Bumblebee was really good, and this movie's fine. But I don't find it offensive like The Last Night. There's no Cogman, and I'm sure that was very upsetting for Nando that there was no Cogman in this movie. But also there's no like Anthony Hopkins going crazy. It's a misnomer. It's not a Beast Wars movie. It's like an Optimus Prime movie. Like they should have called the first one Bumblebee, whatever they did, and then this one should have been Optimus Prime. I think the humans are fine. I think you could have done this whole movie without like Anthony Ramos. Like he was all right. But it could have just been the Transformer stuff, and it would have been totally fine. But we need humans in all these stupid movies. And also, I weirdly liked Pete Davidson. I thought Pete Davidson was pretty good in this role that was like for him, where it's like, I'm going to do a very specific kind of Transformer. And like, I thought it worked. I thought a lot of parts of this movie worked. I thought a lot of it was confusing, but I thought it was fine. So like overall, like, I don't know, 6 out of 10. Yeah. Nothing special. Go take your kids. What about you, Nando?
I agree. I think this movie's pretty good. compared to the other ones of these, it's probably the best one that's not Bumblebee. But also, Bumblebee wasn't really a Transformers movie the same way that the rest of these are. And this feels like all the other ones. Like, it's got those elements, like the kid that's kind of there, like around a bunch of Transformers, some Transformer v Transformer bullshit. And yeah, this is the best it's ever worked. I agree. Anthony Ramos doesn't need to be there. Dominique Fishback doesn't need to be there. It could have used Cogman. Honestly, a lot of their problems where they're like, this tunnel is too small for a Transformer. Well, if
Cogman, yeah.
Cogman is what he is for, is tunnels. I agree. I think Pete Davidson is pretty good. I think Optimus is pretty good. I think this is the only time I've ever seen one of these movies where I'm like, oh, they made him into a character instead of just a bunch of stuff, like, but instead of Yoda just yelling the whole time.
Yeah.
He's got like a little, prejudices and stuff. And I think some of the action was good. Honestly, like, as much as I was like, the Terracons didn't look very good, I don't think the Maximals looked very good either. Like,
really?
Yeah, they just look gray as well. How are they so they're so dull? Like,
Cheetor looked good. I even think Air Razor looked fine.
Air Razor looked okay. Cheetor, that last battle where you get the Predacons and Terracons, mostly some Predacons apparently. You get the Terracons versus the Maximals and the Autobots. Autobots look spectacular, like just like perfect.
Yes.
You can see them in every shot. And sometimes they're on top of a Maximal, and you're like, I think that's a Maximal. I'm not sure. It might be a Predacon, Terracon. It might be the ground, because a lot of these guys just kind of blur together. But yeah, like when you look at the Beast Wars guys, they obviously kind of look like the animals, although not really, but like they do. But then inside, they're all like very colorful. They've got a lot of spirit going on down there. And part of it is just because it's a crappy animated 90s cartoon. But also, like, I wish they had adapted a little bit more of that. Because they looked kind of like Bayformery in this, even though some of the designs were pretty cool.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's all I feel like. I don't really have super strong feelings about it, except for I think it was pretty good. Diggins, what about you?
This movie is very mediocre, which means it's an enormous step up from the Michael Bay Transformers movies.
Yeah.
So true, man.
Which I felt like did color my opinion, where I'm watching it and I'm like, if I just watched this sight unseen, I'd be like, this isn't very good. But instead, I'm watching a Michael Bay Transformers movie that doesn't have Michael Bay in it, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe how much better this is.
Yeah.
That being said, I think it really falls apart in the second half. I think the first half does a lot of really good setup that I was actually like really into. Like up until about the end of the museum thing, like after the Terracons get the first half of the key, I was like, this is all some pretty good stuff. We're doing some effective setup. I actually like what's going on here. But then they fumble the bag in the second half. Most of the character arcs don't really go anywhere. Or if they do go somewhere, they're just like, Optimus Primal says one sentence to Optimus Prime and is like, I'm a good guy now. And then it's just the same old, like, there's a big laser beam in the sky. Everybody's got to team up to stop the laser beam. Climax. But all things considered, it's fine. It's mediocre. It's what these movies always should have been, instead of what they were.
Yeah. That's true.
Like, again, it's like, this is one of, like, a modern blockbuster that I think doesn't work very well and I'm not a huge fan of, but because I've seen how much worse it can be, I'm like, this is fine, I guess. Which is pretty much where I come out. Also, Beast Wars is the only Transformers thing I ever cared about as a kid. And they did my boys dirty. Only Air Razor, Optimus Primal, like, speak in the movie. Cheetor and Rhinox are there, just in camera, laughing too.
Yep.
And then everyone else is gone. And I'm like, why'd you even do it then? What was the point?
Yeah.
So, Diggins, that's super interesting, because you are probably the third person I've heard like that very specific feedback from, where it's like, I fucking love Beast Wars, and this was just not that. And part of me is like, why? And I know why. I know the answer to this question, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Why not just be like Transformer, Unicron Approaches, or whatever, Transformers, The Last Planet, I don't know, whatever.
Well, you see, DJ, the people who care about Beast Wars are 90s kids, and we are in our prime nostalgia, disposable income phase. So they've got to throw in the Beast Wars so that us 90s kids will be like, we got to go see this. It has my favorite Beast Wars.
Well, I was going to say, you could do the Beast Wars without calling it that, like a little surprise, but like that would never work. But it's
but
like...
then the 90s kids won't go to see the Beast Wars if they don't know the Beast Wars is in it, DJ.
I know the answer to the question. I just wanted to bring it up for the conversation's purpose. Like, you're right, and it sucks. And it's like, I guess the only glimmer of hope, and I kind of want to talk about the ending, but we don't have to talk about it now, but I really want to talk about it, is that because they're smashing everything together, like, they'll be back, and there'll be more Beast Wars, and there'll be more guys, and it's okay. It's okay. There'll be more, and you'll have it.
They wrote themselves pretty hard into a corner where we can't have more Beast Wars.
Yeah, if anything, it feels
they're
like they
secret, they're hiding. They know where Air Razor was. There could be a billion Air Razors just around the globe.
Air Razor? Yeah. Well, no, there were explicitly 2, and Air Razor was like, all the other ones are dead. It's just us.
They might not know. I refuse to believe they won't introduce more. I refuse to believe they won't purposely want to sell more toys. There's no way they're not putting more in.
They'll sell more regular Transformers toys. They won't sell more Beast Wars toys.
There will be more Beast Wars. Can we bet on this? Can this be a prediction thing for worth $1 billion? Someone get Supreme Court Justice Roger on the phone.
To be clear, Optimus Primal, Cheetor, Rhinox, I guess they're the only ones left now, actually. Yeah. But I'll throw in Air Razor, too, because she was in this one. Those guys showing up more does not count.
No, a new one. A new, I don't know more Beast Wars guys, but I'm just saying a new one coming up. That would be it. It's like, oh, it's our friend. I don't know, give me a Beast Wars guy. I wasn't a Beast Wars person.
Like I said, my favorites that are not in this movie are Rat Trap, Dinobot, and Black Arachnia.
There's Rat Trap. Oh, look, it's Rat Trap. Where were you? We thought you died.
Yeah.
Oh, I
think
that's
super doable. Absolutely. Captured or something, and the bad guys got him. Yeah.
They'll Fast and Furious it. It's like, oh, the car exploded from another perspective. I was behind it, and it's totally cool.
A sub will come out of the water and it will transform into Rat Trap, and he'll wave and be like, "I'm working with the bad guy now."
Yeah, or that. Yeah, they can come back as a villain too. That's totally on the table. But that will be a thing. I promise.
If anything, I'm more like, I don't think they'll have time for it. We got to do GI Joe stuff now. We don't have time for Transformers. When are we going to do them?
Can we talk about the ending? I feel like we're here.
Yeah, that's the most important part. That's all anybody's talking about anyway.
So, okay, the end of the movie. Who is the guy who's interviewing Noah?
It might as well be the House Cards character. I don't think this is a G.I. Joe guy. I looked him up.
So he's like our new Agent Coulson for G.I. Joe, it seems like.
Yeah, he really is Agent Coulson at home. Yep.
Yeah. So he's like, do G.I. Joe now. So it seems like we're just going to get the Hasbroverse where it's all going to be in here. And like, my question is, how are we just going to smash all these things together where it's the G.I. Joe and it's Transformers and it's Barbie and it's, Barbie's Mattel. But it's Dungeons and Dragons and it's, and it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And it's all of them just slamming them into each other. Like, how are we doing this, man?
I mean, again, I don't want to like pretend it's a good idea, or like I want to justify it as a good idea. But they do seem to have mashed up a couple of times in the shows and in the toys because corporations have been greedy for a while and like kind of creatively bankrupt. So I don't think it's completely out of the realm of possibility. I think the more complicated part is like, how do you make the G.I. Joes a thing if they haven't been a thing? Like, I think you can have a G.I. Joe movie where Transformers show up, and it's like, oh shit, 4 Transformers, that's a big deal. But like, what is this? It's like 2 G.I. Joes, 3 G.I. Joes, a couple of planes. Like, well, unless we do a full G.I. Joe movie between now and then, what are we even going to be doing?
All right. Well, we got Snake Eyes, so that's 1.
Oh god, does that count for these?
Why not?
Yeah, they're going to be... Snake Eyes will show up in the next Transformers movie post-credits and be like, it's time, Optimus Prime, for the G.I. Joe initiative.
Well, see, hold on, because...
Go ahead.
He's a character that takes place in present day.
Yeah, we go to present day Optimus Prime, and Optimus Prime's like, I'm out of the game, and Snake Eyes is like, you can't be out of the game, Optimus Prime, because Megatron and Cobra Commander are teaming up to do a bad thing.
Anthony Ramos with like slightly gray hair and 3 lines drawn on his head and makeup. Like, oh, I remember the olden days. Me and my friend Mirage, who's still pretty much just Pete Davidson. We did.
Well, now it'll be the
stuff.
kid because he's got his sickle cell cured. He can do whatever he wants now. He's all good.
And it'll be and then Charlie will be like, could she be someone? And Haley Steinfeld just like secretly be like the. God, I can't remember any of the names of the women in the G.I. Joe or universe. Scarlett O'Hara or something? Like, is she going to be that? Might as well.
Much to think about.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the next one's got to be right? The next one's going to be G.I. Joe versus Transformers.
Versus?
That's how they do these. It doesn't make a difference. Like, there's no good reason, but that's how they sell it. Godzilla versus Kong, Batman versus Superman. Like, they'll hang out and fight a little bit, and then fucking... Dinotron will show up, and then they'll fight him. Is that his name? Not Dinotron. What's Megatron's name in the bad one? Or in the Beast Wars one?
It's actually just still Megatron.
Does he become different when he becomes a dragon in the second season?
He's always just Megatron. However, he is not the same person. He is different from Transformers Megatron.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. That's probably what they'll do. I think it'll be bad guys. It'll be like the G.I. Joes fighting the Transformers, trying to capture them or some shit. Because every other one of these movies is also the army trying to capture friendly Transformers, and then 2/3 of the way through the movie, the army's like convinced by the little kid that the Transformers are cool, and then they help a little bit. So we'll just do that, but instead of like fucking Josh Duhamel being nameless army guy, he'll be Duke or something.
Right.
Seabeard or whatever these guys' names are. What's the one? What's the name of the one that's like the water one that everyone always makes fun of?
I don't know.
Water one?
The G.I. Joe who's like looks like a little sailor man.
I know even less about G.I. Joe than I know about Transformers.
Oh, it's a very famous looking guy. Is it just Sailor? His name isn't Sailor, is it? Shipwreck. Because they all have little fun names. They're all like... It's like the Transformers. Like Wheeljack. That would be a guy on the Transformers or the G.I. Joes.
The crossover potential is incredible.
I imagine that same one guy that they got to write the names of all the Transformers also wrote the names of all the G.I. Joes.
I always assumed that they just, like, had a dictionary, like, flipped through the pages randomly while someone threw a dart at it. They threw 2 darts, and whatever 2 words it landed on, they would put those together, and that was the new Transformer name.
I mean, you're not close, but it's less thought put into it than you would expect. The Transformers were toys from Japan that were robots that transformed into cars, and Marvel, I think, and Hasbro together just bought them and gave them to one Marvel writer, and you were like, figure out their names, and then that guy just wrote all their names, and then that's where they came up with it. But it's very late, not lazy, because it's not. They're great names, wonderful characters, but like, there's no thought put into it. No one sat down and went, oh, let's make Optimus Prime. What's he gonna look like? Oh, what about if he's a truck? They went, this one's a truck. What do we call him? And then they put that over the side. This one's a hot rod. What do we call him? It's made 1 million of them.
This one's yellow. Make him Bumblebee.
Yeah.
What was your guys' theater reaction to the little G.I. Joe business card being flipped over?
Nothing.
Like mine
Dead
exploded.
silence.
Like
Dead
really?
silence. Well, there wasn't very many people. I went in the afternoon.
Mine was like they were like woo! Like one guy went like let's go. I was like oh man,
let's go Joe.
the wrong constituency.
I guess there was the sound of me closing my eyes and sighing deeply.
Yeah, I couldn't hear a lot
shh.
through all the blood coming out of my ears, but I do think that my theater had a pretty solid reaction to it. They were on board because they don't have to watch the movie; they could just imagine it. You know,
That's actually a really good point.
the
And I
best
think
part.
sometimes the idea is good enough for people.
Yeah. And this is one of those ideas that when like the first couple of cinematic universes came out, this was one of the early ones of like, you know what they could do? Transformers G.I. Joe. And at that point, the Transformers brand was just so strong and the G.I. Joe brand was so weak. They had to wait until the Transformers brand got weaker to like need to do it because it never made sense.
Convergence.
Yeah, pretty much. It's yeah, my theater liked it.
Okay.
I kind of expected what's his name, like Bruce Willis or Snake Eyes or someone like that to pop out from the G.I. Joe movies.
It is weird that they had to. The connective tissue is a business card,
Just
like
some guy.
nothing, like just nothing.
Even the plane, like I kind of know G.I. Joe toy stuff because I was way before my time. I didn't recognize it. It could have been a Transformer guy. I would have been like, yeah, that's one of them. But I'm assuming that was like whatever the first, because the Transformers obviously were cars and they were the fun cars, but also all the G.I. Joes had like humongous helicopters with fucking razor blades on them and stuff. So that was what you would buy if you were buying G.I. Joes.
Right.
I kind of assume that must have been one of them. Yeah, I don't know.
What other things do you guys want to talk about? As a reminder, we don't have a wheel. Solidarity with the writer's strike, so
Yes.
we don't have a wheel.
The one bit of writing we do for this podcast will not be done until the writers have been given a fair contract.
Like the Tonys of this past weekend, we're going off the cuff.
Yeah. What else was there in this movie? I don't know. I do think the Maximal stuff was fun, but also they didn't really do that much stuff, like you were saying. I think their like prehistory bit I was kind of confused by. I'm still kind of confused by it, clearly. I don't even know what the monkey one's name was.
I don't know. I honestly don't understand the parts that, like, before the Maximals got to Earth. I really just took this movie at face value. I'm like, yep, they're here now, and it's cool.
That's all.
So they're like Autobots, but animals.
It's like that part
totally
of Austin
fine.
Powers where he's about to go back in time, and Basil exposition's like, the less you think about it, the better. And then they turn to camera and go, that goes for you, too. It's like,
yeah,
it's fucking their dinosaurs and robots for some reason, whatever.
So in the original Beast Wars story, this is actually kind of a twist, but also that show is over 30 years old, so who cares? They are the future society of like Transformers. Like they're far future, like Optimus and Megatron and all the Transformers you know are long dead. And Optimus Primal is named after Optimus Prime, who's now like a legendary hero. And the Predacons are a new like evil faction that are not the Decepticons, who did a bad thing that they're chasing them for, and they crash land on a planet and like are stranded on this like barren planet where they do Maximal and Predacon stuff. And then later it turns out they realize that when they were chasing the Predacons, they went through a time warp, and they're actually in the distant past, and this planet is Earth. And in that continuity, at least the Decepticon, I think Optimus Prime also, and some of the Autobots, are like in a ship in Earth, like in like stasis, not awake. And so like that's how that's part of how they figure it out, is like they find them and they're like, oh shit, we're in the past, which is how they're from the future and the past simultaneously. Presumably something to that effect is at work here, but we never clarify what it is. So I don't know. They're clearly from the future, because Optimus Primal is like, yes, I am named after you, Optimus Prime. You're a legendary hero. Voiced by Ron Perlman, by the way.
Yeah, and you can kind of hear it if you're listening for it.
Yeah.
But
Scourge was Stephen Blum.
A bunch of them were Stephen Blum.
That's 100% incorrect.
And yeah, not Scourge.
Wait, really?
But two of the other ones were.
Oh, right. Sorry. Blah. Yeah.
Scourge was Peter Dinklage.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. I assume what has to have happened is these guys are Transformers from the future.
Yes.
Went back in time by accident, landed on Saturn, not Saturn, but planet looks like Earth with rings. And then in the far past, or like recent past, I guess, but that planet also has rhinos and shit.
Well, it was at least 5,000 years ago, right?
But like, how long have they been alive?
Well, they got to Earth 5,000 years ago, because that's how old the thing that Elena is studying is.
Yeah.
Oh, right. But they turned into the other animals while they were on this first planet.
Yes, which doesn't make any sense.
Another planet out there that has gorillas and stuff.
It has gorillas and hawks and cheetahs and rhinos. Yes.
Yep. And presumably only those four, because they already got to like. Once you had to name the animal a fifth one it's like another gorilla. So they were already set to copy the other ones down. Apparently scorpions, I guess. But also, it's weird because, like, so, how old are Transformers usually? Are they all 5,000 years old?
I have no idea.
Like, can they be?
I think that's with, like, where this movie... It is, right, I know what you said, like, don't think about it too hard. But, like, because it's an existing IP... Like, you're forced to be like, wait, I can figure this out. I know the Transformers lore. I can do it. But there's nothing in this movie to kind of help you in that area, even knowing that there's, like, the past-future thing with the Maximals, right?
Yeah, could this be in continuity with the show? With the Beast Wars show?
I don't know. I would think not, because they don't have a transwarp key. That's not what... like the Predacons were stealing.
Yeah, but maybe the Predacons in the end died. Like, I could see a version of this where in the end the Predacons are killed by Scourge or join Scourge or something or whatever, and then they find a transwarp key, I guess, and then the movie starts. This movie starts. I don't know.
I don't know. That feels, I mean, but like, I have no confidence to be like, no, that's crazy. That's not what happened. Like, sure, maybe. This movie's wild. But like, to its credit, so here's what I think the movie is like, does well in terms of like, oh, it's confusing, but like, whatever. Is like, the movie is so confusing from the plot. But then at like the 2/3 point, it just gets to the point is there is a key. It would be good from a human perspective if the key was destroyed. It would be bad from an Autobot perspective if it was destroyed. You know, let's team up and get the key, but secretly humans were destroyed, and then they figure out, oh no, let's work together because Optimus is good at speaking. But like, it's helpful that at the end there's like a clear objective, but it's like how we get here, it's like, shut up, don't worry about it. We don't have time for this.
But my problem with that is that part where we get to Anthony Ramos wants to destroy the key and Optimus Prime is like, no, is like, yeah, we set up that conflict decently, but the actual conflict is bad. It's bad because Optimus has changed his mind for no reason. And his speech is basically like, no, please don't do it. And Anthony Ramos is like, fine, I won't. So it's like,
you could argue Optimus changes his mind when he sees the Peruvians.
Yeah, I would
like,
say the Maximals have that, like, we love the people mindset that changes Optimus.
I mean, yes, that's the idea, but it feels so weak. It's just like, he sees that and Optimus Primal is like, it's good to work with humans, and Optimus Prime is like, you're right, I will let go of all of my guilt and pain and all the stuff that I've been saying and doing up until this point because of that one sentence you just said to me.
I mean, I bought it. Like honestly, the one thing I didn't question in this movie was like Optimus's motivation. Like, I think this is a really good Optimus Prime movie. Like, he's the main character. He feels guilty about his mess up that like stranded the Autobots. He has a clear objective, but he has a change of heart that is clear by like getting mentored by someone who he like inspired.
Literally,
like, that's
a
cool.
sentence.
I
feel like what's-her-name's death was also a thing where he's like, whoa, these guys are actually heroes, and I should maybe be more like them. When he choked out Air Razor, she had to die. That was like a formative moment for Optimus. I guess there's also the moment where Optimus is like, please don't destroy the thing, and they're like, all right. And then he's like, you humans, you guys are pretty cool.
It feels like the thing that should have happened there is that Optimus sees that Anthony Ramos is about to destroy it. He freaks out. They like fight. And then that's what lets Scourge get the transwarp key. And they have a big argument that maybe Optimus Primal like talks him down from. And that's what gets them to like change their minds. Something that actually feels dramatized in literally any way.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I can't remember. How does Scourge get the first or the second transwarp key?
Well, the thing happens what we just said where Optimus is like, no, don't do it. And Anthony Ramos is like, fine. Yeah. And then Air Razor or not Air Razor, the purple one, the purple lady, I think, swoops in and is like, whoops, I got it now. Bye, idiots. And it's just like, oh, well, I guess we should have paid more attention than not at all, huh?
Yeah, I didn't have a name for her, but she gets the best line in the movie where Pete Davidson says they fly now. So I kind of called her that in my head. She was they fly now.
But yeah, no, I think the opening of this movie is very strong. I think it sets up conflicts really well. I think it super badly bungles resolving them.
Yeah, if I could improve this movie in terms of the like pacing and flow, I think I take out most of the like archaeologist lady, her thing, because it's too much for the movie, right? Like, I don't think we really need it. And like, we start from the premise of like, although we'd get less fight scenes, but I feel like we start from a premise of the Predacons have half of a transwarp key. Like, that's just the starting point. Maybe it's an expedition like Unicron. Maybe they got it like 3,000 years ago. They spent like the last 2,000 looking for the other half. And like, that's our goal. That's what we're chasing. And then that way we maybe put more of that exposition in, or like motivation parts in, where there could be the struggle between Optimus and the humans, and make it more of like truly an Optimus-driven vehicle. Because those are the parts of the movie that works, I think.
The part
where it's like we get to see Optimus struggles.
The parts I would remove would be the Beast Wars parts, because they feel the most extraneous to the Beast Wars movie.
Yeah, you gotta get rid of them.
It feels like they're...
But how are we getting butts in seats, Diggins? Butts in seats. That's the thing.
It feels like it's only there so that they can say it's the Beast Wars movie. It feels like they had a different Transformers movie that was just a Transformers movie, and then they like stuffed the Beast Wars guys in so that they could sell tickets. So I think the movie would be better if they weren't in it, because it feels like it's meant to not have them in it.
I mean, that is a shame, but also true. So,
It does feel like that.
Yeah. But I mean, and even after all that, like, they get like a pretty decent movie out of it, right? Like, this movie, outside of my nervousness of the G.I. Joe bits, I feel like they have figured out how to make these movies at least mediocre, and that isn't overall good. Because I, like, really enjoyed the fight scenes, and I really like Transformers characters, like, in general, and I think this movie is like a net positive, and I didn't think it would be. I thought Bumblebee was like a flash in the pan, a one-off. They're all gonna be bad otherwise, but it really seems like Michael Bay was the problem. Go figure.
Like, taking a Michael Bay Transformers movie and taking out the Michael Bay means that it is now like a low-tier Marvel movie instead of one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I do
Which
also think
good.
It's definitely a huge improvement.
And as much as Michael Bay is the problem, and I'm sure he had like bad instincts when it came to story and stuff like that. It certainly seems like he did. I do think a lot of this is like what this and what Bumblebee, and definitely the part of Bumblebee where you're on Cybertron kind of prove is what we've always known this whole time, which is like, if you just make the Transformers look kind of cool, a lot of this works. And they just did not look great in those original movies. They all looked really gray and boring.
Yeah.
And in this, when they are colorful, it's like, that's pretty cool. Like all those action sequences with like RC and stuff. I do think, like, I don't know. I don't hate Mirage's design in this, but he reeks of Bayformer in a way that some of the other ones don't. I think Wheeljack's a pretty good design. Optimus is great.
Yeah.
Bumblebee's fine. Yeah.
I think RC's fine too.
Oh, RC's the best one. But I'm thinking like, out of all the good guys that are Autobots, and Mirage is probably my least favorite, but he's still fine. He's still better than all the ones from the original movies.
Yeah, it's the thing that has always been the problem with these, and because we still went just robots fighting robots. Like, the villains are always hard to like crack and like get right. Like, and I actually think that's why Bumblebee was such a success. Is like very character driven, and like who the big bad is doesn't matter as much. But, like, in this one, we're back to, like, yeah, man, it's Unicron. By the way, the fact that they jumped right to Unicron for the basically second movie of the reboot is insane.
Oh, yeah. Bad
like,
decision.
How?
Like, and especially because it's, like, Unicron needs the transwarp key to both destroy Earth, but also it makes a portal that brings all the bad guys to Earth, right? Like... Megatron can just want that, so he can make the portal that brings all the bad guys to Earth. There's no reason why this needs to be a Unicron thing.
Yeah, it's true.
And, like, maybe Megatron's done that, like, 8 times already. I honestly can't remember. But, making this Unicron is bad. I guess, like, if they wanted to do the Terracons, it's like, those are usually Unicron's guys, I think. But, like, I don't know. I don't like them as villains here much anyway. Why not have the Predacons be the villains? Like...
Because we wrote a whole movie.
Thing would confuse people.
We wrote a whole movie before a Hasbro executive came in and said, "Hey, those 90 kids are getting pretty old now. Make it Beast Wars."
Well, but then, like, but I think that sells more tickets. If the bad guy is Megatron from the future, Predacon Maximal, not Maximal.
Yeah, but we already wrote the movie before they told us to do Beast Wars.
Yeah, but the writing's still the worst part. Like, it's so easy to just change a couple of their names and make him purple instead of spikes, and then he's perfect. God, like, imagine... Because that one looked cool. He had a big old dinosaur head for a hand.
Yeah.
Like, old school Megatron.
He was a T-Rex. Everyone loves a T-Rex.
Yeah. Yeah, like...
And he went, yes.
Ooh, did he?
Yeah, he famously... He was voiced by Tony Jay and had a very, very smooth voice and often went, yeah. There's like a supercut on YouTube. You can find it.
Yeah, I want to look up more about the original Predacons. Well, I guess there's 2 Predacons. But yeah, Waspinator, right? That's one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one who sucks.
Like, he's cool.
No, he's great.
Could be Predacons.
Like, his role in the story is he's the one who sucks, and that's awesome.
He's the Starscream of the guys.
No, he's not that's Tarantulas. He's just like stupid and gets blown up constantly.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good. I like that. Yeah, looking at these guys, it's like you could easily have taken the 2 or 3 bad guys, turned them into Predacons, have them be trying to get the transwarp key so they can go back in time and kill the Transformers as babies or something, because there's time travel in this movie, kind of. And
we talk about how they did time travel, but there's no actual time travel in the movie.
yeah.
We think.
Yeah, I feel like you could have there be time travel. You could also have there be like, if they're not supposed to be 5,000 years old, you could say that it's like, well, they're like, in stasis pods or something from 5,000 years ago to now, probably.
I think stasis pods is a thing in Beast Wars that they're in.
Right. Because otherwise, it's like, how are they so old? And then the Transformers, I guess they're different from Transformers, but it's just kind of confusing.
Yeah.
Did either of you guys have a favorite Transformer or Predacon or Terracon or whatever, any of them?
You know what's interesting is like the roster between all of the different groups is so limited, right? Like there's no Decepticons in this movie.
No.
And then you got 3 Terracons, 4 Maximals, 5 or 6 Autobots, and then like that's your roster. Well, and then all of the like hordes.
and let's not forget our
Predacons.
I mean, I think that's to the movie's strength because it means that instead of having a billion guys whose names I never learn, there's a few guys who I know who they are and have things that could be called character traits.
I think if you're going to do that, you start smaller and end smaller. Like, again, taking out the Maximals would have fixed a lot of these problems, but like starting with one Autobot and then meeting more so that, because they never got time to have personalities. Bumblebee's never had one. But like RC, Wheeljack, they were all just kind of there.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I think they could have pared it down even more, and it would have been better. I'm just saying, I think the fact that there are fewer in this one than there have been in the past is part of what makes this movie better.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how The Last Night opens. There are like 10 different kinds of, Autobots, Decepticons that are just thrown at us.
Yeah.
Megatron has a little bit, right? Where it's like, yeah, get this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy.
Yeah, where was Nitro Zeus in this? Why wasn't it like, what's your name? You're Gorilla. My name is Nitro Zeus Primal, because I am named after the best Transformer that ever lived. Nitro Zeus, is that guy important? He will be someday. Be a little guy. Not until the year 2015. Dance around.
Yeah, like... so I don't know, to answer your question more directly, I guess, like, I don't know, I like Mirage. It's probably Optimus. No, like, I'm a fucking stan for Bumblebee just because I'm such a nerd. And these movies have tricked me to being like, Bumblebee's the main character.
You like his little noises.
You don't like the little quotes and quips and stuff? I love it. I think
hate it. Sometimes they don't even work. Like, sometimes he's saying things and I'm like, I don't think that's what he means, but I guess that's a quote from a famous movie. At one point, he gives a "you can't handle the truth," and I'm like, I don't think that answers the question.
I think that's like fun though. It's like I only have a limited library. What do I have here? Like he's responding in like in a second. Cut him some slack.
I wish there was a little bit more like personality there then, because like they always pick like just a random assemblage of like popular quotes and stuff. I wish it felt more like these are all the words. Like, he's only speaking from movies that came out in 1992 or something. Like, just a little bit more intentionality, because it just feels so arbitrary. Apparently goes to the movies by himself?
Yeah.
Sure.
How does he pay?
I mean, he's a little car, I guess.
Maybe that's like
money in the glove box.
Maybe he's like going on little dates with Haley Steinfeld, and she pays.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. Wait. Okay, yeah, I get it. I can see it. She's like, free movie? Whatever, I'll do it. And then...
Oh, you think that's all there is there? Cool. You think that's all there is there, Nando?
That's all there is there.
You're kidding yourself.
Stop it,
You're kidding yourself.
You gross monster.
After watching these Shamik Moore interviews, I know what a Haley Steinfeld that's not that interested in a relationship looks like. I can tell. And that's her in Bumblebee, and that's her in real life as well.
Is she dating Josh Allen? Is that a thing?
Maybe. I don't know. Is she?
That's a rumor that she might be dating Josh Allen, yeah.
Let's see.
Who is that?
Haley Steinfeld dating.
The quarterback for the Bills. The Buffalo Bills.
Yes. In May 2023.
Yeah.
Cool. He looks...
Good for them.
Interesting. He's got an interesting face. Oh, wait, no. That's not him. Sorry. That's Niall Horan, who I think is one of the One Directions, who I guess she used to be dating.
Yeah.
Yes.
He has a face. The Bills
Going from One Direction boy to quarterback is like, that's a thing. That's interesting.
They're both famous, I guess. That's helpful. That's your thing. I don't know. I mean, maybe he's the maybe Niall Horan is the jock of the One Directions. You know how all the '90s bands had the one bad boy with the dreadlocks and stuff. Maybe that's what this is. But he like does fantasy football or something. His personality. I don't know. What do you think of the music in this? Speaking of music,
you mean the bangers, the absolute banger after banger?
So there's music in this movie.
So there's a little bit. Yeah, just once or twice they do all the songs from the Wu-Tang Clan and stuff.
Oh, I didn't notice.
Yeah,
Cash rules everything around me. Cream.
that's right. It was okay.
I struggled to remember any of the musical scenes, sincerely. Which means they weren't bad, but I didn't care.
I mean, Bumblebee's intro is "Don't Call It a Comeback" with that little Cool J song.
Yep.
Mama said knock you out. That's the only one I can think of. You were gonna say there's an NWA one, DJ?
No, I thought there was one. Looking now, there isn't.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention another reason why the start of this movie is good. A few dead cops.
What?
Oh my god, there were so many, and by dead cops, it was like these guys were like, "You stole a car, give us your car," and they were like, and the car was like, "Fuck you," and then it made them plow head first into a fucking wall.
Yeah, no, there's a few cops who died that night, 100%.
That was insane. Like.
Yeah, I couldn't believe
that. When that first security guard starts shooting at him, I'm like, all right, this guy's justifying his own death later on in the scene. But the cops that were just like, pull over, I was like, man, they really just did their job.
Well, yeah, but doing the job of a cop should be a death sentence. But I think what happens is Mirage is just like, yeah, they're going to crash, but like whatever. They'll go put them in an energon bath and then they'll be alive again. Like you can't. You're not actually going to die. I mean, people can't die.
Right. They'll just take all their body parts and then put it back together afterwards, and then it'll be good.
Yeah. It'll be fine.
And I wonder, because there was even like. It wasn't even just because Mirage was like during the escape doing Mirage stuff, and part of it was he was making other Noahs and then having those other Noahs like flip each other off. So like,
that was so great.
You really could have like these cops, man. They did not. They just and if you're a cop, let's say you're a cop. I mean, you're not, but let's say you are.
I would never. How dare you?
Exactly. In a parallel world where they're cool, and you see someone stole a fancy Porsche, or I guess you hear they did. And then you follow them, and then their car turns into 3 cars. What do you do?
Yeah, right.
Go to turn around, just go home.
Well,
how are you accepting this as like a premise? I'm
a cop who just saw something I don't understand, so I take out my gun and fire wildly at it until the clip is empty.
Yeah.
Even in the parallel world where cops are cool or whatever, you're still doing that.
It's just like here's the thing. It's like, for the parallel world where cops are cool, it's like, well, then they're not cops anymore. Like, you've removed all the things that make them cops in order to make them cool.
Right, it's true.
So, like, it can't be done.
Hold on, you guys. I just realized something.
Yeah.
So here's my thought process in my head. I'm like, hey, didn't Haley Steinfeld do something kind of similar to this in the first movie? Do some sort of insane road rage-y kind of thing that the cops would definitely be like, she's going to jail, and then she, like, got away. And then my head, I was like, well, I guess she probably did that, but then the, Sector 7, whatever they're called in this, like the the army guys probably got her out of it because she helped with Bumblebee stuff. And then I was like, hey, where's John Cena in this movie? And then I'm like, oh, he's a G.I. Joe. He's definitely going to be the main character of the G.I. Joe movie.
Oh, interesting.
Could be.
It fits way too well. Like, and he's good now. We like him, so it'll be good. He'll be Duke, the main one. Or he could be Shipwreck if he wants a little bird, but there's only so many options.
I think it'll be better if they give him a role where he can be a little silly.
I think so, too. Yeah.
Is he too old to be Duke?
Whatever.
He
could be a Duke that's old this time. I mean, the only time Duke... Well, like, so Duke was Channing Tatum in the first one. I think you could bring him back if you wanted. I don't think they will, but, like, I think you could.
What's he up to lately?
Marlon Wayans back, too. God, I don't know.
He did the Magic Mike movie that was back.
And didn't he, like, direct it, too, or something?
Yeah.
So, like, he's probably been working on that for a while. It was, like, that shitty Kingsman movie he was in a while back. He died to me after that, and I haven't really thought about him since. Gambit, he's still working on that Gambit movie. Lost City, he was in that. That was pretty good.
Oh, yeah, I never watched that, but I think you wrecked it, right? I, like, remember.
If I didn't, I'd say it's a fine little movie. That he's pretty funny in.
He has an uncredited cameo in Bullet Train.
He is in Bullet Train, yeah.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, he's got like a couple movies coming out. He's got a movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, directed by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's got something called Project Artemis, which is probably...
Oh, no, sorry. This one that I'm looking at is directed by Zoe Kravitz. Pussy Island.
Oh my god. Now that's a movie. Sounds pretty cool. He's in a movie, like, so there's Project Artemis, which plot is under wraps. Scarlett Johansson, Woody Harrelson, Channing Tatum, Ray Romano. What if this is a secret G.I. Joe movie? That'd be pretty cool.
Well, it says it is a 1960s space race film, so that'd be a little hard.
He could go to space. I mean, it wouldn't make sense why bring him back, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like John Cena is definitely going to be a G.I. Joe now, and then it almost kind of works. Because he'd be mad that Bumblebee just fucking left. He'd be like, I thought we were cool, Bumblebee. It doesn't seem like the government knows how to get in contact with Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, hold on. Real quick, let's play a game.
Oh,
okay.
I love games.
How many upcoming projects does John Cena currently have on his IMDb page? Now I want to be very clear.
Oh my god.
Be very clear. This counts TVs and shows, obviously. Fast X 2, whatever, not on this list, even though he's definitely in it, because no one dies in those.
They're pretending for now.
Yeah. But, so there's 10, or not 10. There's more than 10, I'll give you that. But I will say, like, some of them are sequels to stuff, some of them are not. None of them are out yet. How many are there?
Ooh.
I'm going to say
one of them's a
12.
podcast, so let's say that one doesn't count.
I'll still go with 12.
I'm gonna go with 17.
No, it's 12, actually.
Yo!
Well,
I win the next however many weeks.
I feel
that's it right
better
there.
knowing I could not possibly have gotten closer.
Yeah, so there's 64th Man, which is a podcast. We're not counting it. Peacemaker Season 2. Something called Hidden Strike, which is completed. Just some fucking movie. Some action movie with him and Jackie Chan.
Right.
Probably isn't very good.
Oh.
Maybe it's good, though. Who knows? I don't know.
Bringing the Chan Man back?
I mean,
Bring
so
the Chan
rarely is an American movie made with a Hong Kong action star that's good.
But the director of this movie played stockbroker in Triple X.
Oh, well, never mind then.
Oh.
It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, this might be good. Also in a movie called Hidden Strike. Oh, wait, no, that's what I just said. I was going to say, like, man, he's making a lot of movies with Jackie Chan these days. He's a Ken in Barbie.
Oh, cool.
He is in that Coyote v. Acme movie that James Gunn has made, where it's like about the Acme stuff or something. He might be the lead in that.
He might be
So
Coyote?
that looks maybe.
The Coyote.
Lyle
He
E.
is a Rocksteady in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie that comes out later this year.
Knew that one.
That's exciting. In like a month. Like, that
Yeah.
one's coming right around the corner.
He's in Vacation Friends 2, which is a movie by the guys who did Dungeons and Dragons. They made the Vacation Friends movie. I don't know what it is. I haven't watched it yet. It's a movie called
Some
Freelance.
studio comedy.
Ex Special Forces, something, something, something. He's in there. This is not by anybody from Triple X, so it's probably not going to be any good.
That's the
Camera
metric.
operator from Transporter 2.
Oh,
So maybe,
wow. They hired him to be a camera operator?
it'd be great. It'd be great. He'd be called the whole camera over his shoulder. He wouldn't even need any of the
Yeah,
stuff.
he wouldn't
So
even get
strong.
tired.
Yeah. He is in Argyle, the new Matthew Vaughn spy movie for Apple TV Plus, so it's going to be bad. That's the rules. It looks pretty funny, though. Not pretty funny. It doesn't look funny. Henry Cavill has an absolutely atrocious haircut in it. And then he's in a movie called Head of State and something called Ricky Stenicki, Jansen Directive, and Grand Death Lotto.
I can't believe
What the fuck is this?
you have so little faith in the ability of the director of your favorite spy movie to make a spy movie.
I'm just saying the rules are when you make a spy movie that goes direct to streaming, it has to be bad.
That's fair.
That is like there's a man who comes in and writes bad words on the script, like cross out all the good dialogue, and he's Mr. Streaming Man. Very important.
Or woman.
Or woman. Yeah.
Yeah, women can be executives who don't get it also.
Absolutely. This day and age, I mean, it's probably 50-50. The studios, they've gotten so woke these days. Speaking of that, you guys.
Oh, we have to do the game.
Is this movie woke?
That's tough.
Absolutely.
I think no.
Are you kidding me? It's so woke.
I think...
How is it woke?
Here's the thing, Nando. If this movie existed in a vacuum, you just put it in front of me, I'd be like, I don't think it's that. But this is a movie that used to be Michael Bay movie, that used to have lots of offensive racist stereotypes and, like, women that the camera lusted after openly. And just extended bursts of people looking directly into the camera and talking about how great the United States military is.
And the United States laws regarding having sex with 17-year-olds.
Yes,
Hell yeah.
exactly.
We still got to do that one.
Now that's not woke, apparently.
And so the fact that it removed all of those things makes it woke, even if the content itself isn't that woke.
It's woke because at the end, the good guy's like, you want some universal health care, little kid? That's so woke.
Yeah, that
Imagines
is
a
woke.
future where Americans able to get health care even though they're poor.
It's woke because at one point Optimus asks Optimus Primal, like, or it was Elena, somebody asked him, they were like, oh man, so you built like the temple of Tikal and the Nazca lines, right?
Right.
Because, you know, non-white natives from long ago couldn't possibly have been smart or cool enough to do stuff like that. And Optimus Primal, instead of being like, that is correct, only the white man has ever achieved anything of value.
It was actually aliens. You were correct.
Optimus Primal is like, no, we cannot take credit for human ingenuity. And it's like,
Yep.
damn, you're telling me that ancient peoples who are not white could do things? Woke.
Actual bullshit, too, because in the Transformers, they did build the pyramids, so at least they built some of it, you know?
Well, the
They've been
pyramid,
building all the...
pyramids aren't the
all the
temple of
fancy-
Tikal or the Nazca lines. So
Yeah, I know, but it's like... The Transformers are always hiding super weapons under big things that they built. So that's why it's woke, is because it used to be that it would be like, yep, pyramids, alien thing. There's a big alien gun under there that sucks up the sun or whatever, and the aliens built it to trick us.
aliens are always
why else
building
is it-
things to trick us.
Yeah. What else is woke? Yeah, that thing that you said. I mean, two, non-white leads, pretty woke. It's got to be the first time that's ever happened in one of these Transformers movies, because it's either Shia LaBeouf or Mark fucking Wahlberg. So, and those are two whitest guys.
But minorities doing crimes, not woke?
Ooh, yeah, they did things to the cops, though. They got away with it, and then a lot of cops died. So it's
and
pretty
also,
woke.
we saw sympathetic reasons for why the minorities are doing crimes instead of just that they're evil and have low IQ.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think, Diggins, you're right. The wokest thing is that pyramids line. And
It is
it
super
proves
woke.
that the movie is woke. And you didn't like it because it's woke, but me and DJ liked it. So we're pretty cool.
Yeah, we're super woke.
I mean,
I do think the healthcare thing is insane, the way that he explains universal healthcare to him.
The way-
These are doctors that don't ask you for your checkbook
Yeah,
after they do the
right.
surgery.
yeah, he's like,
What is
Wow,
that?
you
You guys got
saved the
flying
entire-
planes, too, and jetpacks.
you saved the
Incredible.
entire world, so you get a little thing that every other country in the world has as a treat. Only for your brother, though. Only for the sickle cell, though. Not for anything else. Let's be clear. You get like the flu or something, you're paying for that visit.
Absolutely. There's nothing more American than that. That is so embarrassing. Remember how this movie had the World Trade Center in it? That's weird, isn't it? It's weird to see World Trade Center in movies. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know what happened later in the timeline that makes it weird to see the World Trade Center now. It's a mystery. No one will ever know.
And the Transformers just let it happen. You know? They're not supposed to do that. Also,
Actually,
God.
one of the planes was a Transformer.
I wouldn't be surprised. It could be Starscream. That seems like something he'd do.
Yeah,
I do
exactly.
think one of the God, I do think that scene where we're in New York and we see the big smoke cloud come out. I'm like, I remember that day. That was like the other day. It was weird that day when everything was smoke.
No, it's okay. Only Autobots can see the smoke.
Yeah, did we miss a Unicron on Tuesday? Did Unicron happen?
It could have been.
Also, do the people of Earth
Ooh,
all know
I didn't
about
consider
Unicron?
because he did show up
he-
briefly, right?
Yeah, he came out of the portal in space, and he was like as big as the whole planet. So I figure everyone on Earth could see him, at least on that side.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anybody got any questions?
I don't know, because Elena's doing an interview like, hey, I found some old stuff, and no one's like, does this have anything to do with that big alien, like, planet that showed up the other day?
Yeah, also, what old stuff did you find? Explain it to us, please. Give us one piece of context, and then we're like, oh, it's those transforming alien things. Also, like, shouldn't G.I. Joe get involved then? Shouldn't they be like, you can't do and invest, like, you can't go on TV, miss. You're part of G.I. Joe now, but you can't, like, just go do interviews.
Yeah, right? Like, what does her boss have to say about that?
And what did she even say? What did you discover? We discovered that this big thing in the middle of Peru is a silly puzzle that leads to absolutely nothing. There's nothing down there. Also, there's a lot of big footprints down from a big robot. Also, a big giant crater, I guess, from wherever that shit happened. The whole fucking Peru exploded. Everybody left.
They need to give the Transformers some kind of, like, neuralizer, how they have in Men in Black.
They do need to give
They need something like that.
I mean, I feel like that's something that, like, Mirage would just hit you over the head with, like, a pipe or something. I think I got him. He can't forget, remember? Also, Mirage is the. Do you guys think what do you think that little gun thingy is? You think it's his butthole?
Oh God!
He tosses it to the kid, and he's like, "Don't ask me what part of my body this came from."
I mean, obviously it's his robo dick.
I don't think he'd give that away. Well, maybe he would because he loves him so much. He's good friends. I agree, DJ. Though I think Pete Davidson was good in this.
Right? I really think he was good.
He was fine.
I give him better than fine.
I do. I think he turned in like a performance as opposed to like whatever you would do in like the Minions or something. I mean, Minions are probably performances. I imagine there's like other roles that Pete Davidson has done where he comes in and Pete Davidson's around for a little bit and then goes home.
Yeah,
Saturday Night Live.
No, he's great on. No, he's not great. Well, I don't know. He's fine.
I thought there was effort put into this.
Hey, he was good in Bodies.
He is good as good, but yeah, maybe he's good in everything. Fast X, how about that's one? There you go.
There we go. Yeah, I have no problem. I have no problem with Pete Davidson. Really, I don't know. I think I just feel ambivalent about the character more than the performance.
I mean, that's fair. I do think that there could be like a thing here where it's like, oh, could Pete Davidson do like certain kinds of roles? Like, I think there's a thing here. Like, this wasn't what was this, like the King of Staten Island or whatever, where it's like, oh, I'm just Pete Davidson. It's like, oh, this was like a level
or Bupkis, the new effort. Thing on Peacock, where he's just Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
The show
or the Taco Bell commercials, where he's just Pete Davidson. Like, he could be an actual legitimate actor. Maybe not legitimate, but like he could do voiceovers for a big budget movie.
He'd be a Transformer. Well, I don't know, man. Some of the Transformer actors, Michelle Yeoh just won, Best Actor or something. So. They got some talent lined up.
Yeah, there are Oscar Award winners playing Transformers, DJ.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. And I think
what? Pete Davidson has arrived. He could do anything.
I think Peter Cullen was good in this, too. I liked his optimist that was like, I fucking hate all the people. I hope they all die. I want to go home. I'm tired of this bullshit. I agreed with him.
Yeah, he should have let the Earth get destroyed.
Did he say if we could come? Was that in it?
It wasn't let them come, it was let him come?
Yeah, he says it about Unicron. Let him come. Yeah.
Why does he say that?
Because at the end, they're like, oh man, we stopped the bridge, but Unicron's still out there, and maybe he'll be back for his revenge. And Optimus Prime goes, let him come. Then he will chill out and not destroy planets.
Yeah. I feel like I'm Optimus. I'm like, I hope he does it. I don't think we could kill Unicron. We could just turn off his teleporter a little bit. But like, if Unicron shows up, we got a monkey and a cheetah and a rhino and a couple of cars. We're gonna lose.
Unicron actually shows up and Optimus is like, oh shit, I was just trying to sound cool. This is actually very bad.
Guys, I think we're fucked.
Quick, Pete Davidson, throw me your butthole. All right, little champ. I think
quick, no one come. Yeah. It's imperative that no one comes right now.
Do not come. Do not make the trip.
Do not lubricate on that man.
Oh God.
I mean, listen, it's great. That's for just that reason alone. I want more of these. I want another excuse for Optimus Prime to say some other thing about whether they should or shouldn't come or who should come or whatever.
Stop making Optimus Prime say that.
He needs to.
I'm so happy to be coming.
Coming all over the place.
I don't like it.
I
don't like it one bit.
I like it a lot. Cobra Commander, come. Get it. I mean, yeah, I hope we do stupid fucking G.I. Joe versus Transformers movie where they fight Dinosaur Man. Or there's only two, there's a couple more villains that you could do in Transformers. You could do Megatron from Beast Wars. You can do the Insectons. I don't think they've ever done them or whatever they're called. The ones that are just a lot of bees. They're pretty bad. Okay. I don't even know what the rest of the bad guys are. We did so many of them.
I don't, like I said, I really don't know that much about Transformers.
Okay, here's a question. Next movie.
Yeah.
Megatron teams up with Cobra Commander. Who backstabs who?
Both simultaneously.
Oh, that'd be pretty good. They both do a mutual backstabbing where they start to backstab each other. Like, oh, okay, cool. We're on the same page about this. Great. I'm going to take your thing. You take my thing. We'll just go. Yeah.
I just don't know how, like Cobra Commander could do a backstab. That feels
it's like this movie. There'll be some fucking thing. The new, spark of robotity or something, and it's the size of a, bowling ball or whatever, and he steals it instead of giving it to Megatron like he said he would or something. That's the usual backstabbing, right? Like Megatron will be like, you can use this to rule the planet, and Cobra Commander, I'll steal it myself, and I'd fuck you, Megatron, and then he'll go and do it, in a corner. But Megatron definitely, I feel like Megatron is smarter than Cobra Commander. Cobra Commander's kind of an idiot. Megatron's supposed to be a genius, but they're both from cartoons, so it doesn't quite scale the way you'd expect.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. Any other parts of this movie that were fun? Was the mom the same mom from Into the Spider-Verse?
She was, yes.
Cool. Good for her. She's the mom of the year. She's mom in every movie. Pete Davidson's Pete Davidson in every movie. It's great.
Incredible. So they kind of like saying, hey, maybe Noah and Elena are going to kiss, and then just nothing comes with that, huh?
I'm glad. Yeah. Keep it platonic if it could be platonic.
I don't know. I kind of want... I couldn't quite figure out what was going on there either. Because, I don't know. In the end, she put her head on his shoulder.
Yeah.
When they were, in the plane, and it's you can kiss if you want. It's fine.
But no. They're not allowed.
It just doesn't feel like that was set up at all.
No, yeah, no.
No, of course not.
But also...
Well, DJ, it's only not set up if you don't see a man and a woman in a movie and then instantly go well, they should kiss, obviously.
That's true.
We used to have, I feel like we've gotten a lot of those recently, though. A lot of your Shang-Chi's, right? Where it's some sort of guy and a girl, and throughout the whole movie, you're am I supposed to be picking up anything from this? And in the end of the movie, you're probably not. But if we decide to in the next one... You'll be I guess they did that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That's fair.
I kind of would appreciate it if, Dominique Fishback was into Mirage. He's got a lot of personality. Right. He's got a penis that Noah can use.
What?
So,
oh, my God.
Oh, they can be a throuple. Yeah.
Yeah. It could be that Her movie where Scarlett Johansson just hires a person to have sex with Joaquin Phoenix.
That's true. That does happen in that
Nothing
movie.
wrong with that.
Although Joaquin Phoenix isn't really into it.
No, he is not. I don't think Dominique Fishback. Well, maybe she would be. I don't know. Pete Davidson's cool. He's a cool car. He knows references, pop culture references.
Mm-hmm. That's how you know someone's cool.
He's so current.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. So you guys, you want to get to our classic segment?
Yeah.
Let's do it. DJ, do you have anything to recommend to the fine people?
I do. So, not to peek behind the curtain too much, but we had a quick turnaround for these two pods, so I didn't have much, but I did have one thing. So I was in the city this past weekend, and Michelle and I decided to take a stop to Midtown Comics, and I really wanted to get some Spider-Man comics because I loved just all of the Spider-Man stuff, just because it was so good.
So you read all the recent Spider-Man comics that everyone loves.
Yeah.
No mistakes there.
And DJ's and there's this new character in those comics I really love. His name's Paul.
Yeah. You went to Midtown Comics. You point me in the direction of the Spider-Man comics. They handed you The Death of Miss Marvel. And you were I don't think this is real.
Love this.
And you were excuse me, sir, is there Paul in this one? And he said, yes. Excellent. Great. That's all I wanted.
Yeah.
So no, all the Pauls were cleared out. There were no Pauls to be found. I did find, however, this this compilation book called Silk Out of the Spider-Verse, which it's a Silk comic, and we all love Silk. Not in Spider-Verse movie, but it's still a fun Spider-Man adjacent character. Is that
the one where Peter Parker turns into a big spider monster, and so does Silk, and then they have sex?
So it's not even that. It's just that they have pheromones and they're so attracted to each other they want to have sex. That was the origin, though. So if this isn't that, then that would have ignored that because they realized pretty immediately that was a mistake, but that was part of it.
Yeah. But it's it's a couple of different stories put together. It's Dan Slott and Robbie Thompson. But it's pretty good. It's I think it's well drawn enough, but also it's like not old. It's from 2015, which old. I guess like I don't know, grain of salt. Take how old that is, but like enjoyable, like enjoyable. So if you want to get some, I don't know, 8-year-old Spider-Man content that I don't know, I thought was like enjoyable enough. And I don't read comics only so often. But I saw this, and the lady at Midtown recommended it, so I'm like, cool. In that, I guess there was nothing else. I'm like, what Spider-Man stuff are you having? And she's like, nothing. We're all cleared out because that stupid movie came out. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Wow.
So
racist,
yeah.
man. That lady. Here's a question. Wait, so it says Silk Out of the Spider-Verse. Is it a specific volume? Volume 1, 2, or 3? What color is the cover?
So I'm looking on now, and on the internet now, and I think it's volumes 1 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good. It's good. It's enjoyable. But yeah, I see that there's like 2 different ones.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out which of this I have read, and I think it is what is mostly in the 3rd volume, which is like the more recent Silk stuff. That's not even that recent, but yeah, Silk's cool. Again, we talked about this last week. I don't know why they haven't done anything with her yet. Just make a Silk show or whatever.
Yeah.
But
so
yeah,
and it has a few ones too. It actually has a Spider-Woman, a couple Spider-Woman comics in there too. So yeah, that was also good to get some of that in there.
Cool. Diggins, what about you? Do you have anything to recommend?
Yeah, so like DJ said, it hasn't been very much time, so I only managed to watch 3 movies since our last recording session. The first is The French Connection, which is a neo-noir.
Which version did you watch?
The one from the original from the 70s?
Isn't this the movie that got like edited by Disney digitally, and even your Apple one that you bought is edited now?
Oh, yeah.
I figured that's why you read it, or that's why you watched it this week, was because of all the controversy, because that happened like yesterday, or the other day.
Yeah, because the main character says the N-word.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but like, he says it because he's a cop and he's racist. So yeah, it's a neo-noir about a couple of cops who are on the trail of like a heroin ring. That it's called The French Connection because the heroin's coming from France. And it's very much like about like the investigation, about them like tracking these guys and like eventually like unraveling the whole thing, and then ends with like the bust. It has a very famous car chase scene in it, and by car chase I mean it's one of the cops in a car is like chasing a subway so that the guy who escaped into the subway won't get away from him, which is why it's good and exciting, because it's not just 2 cars driving constantly. People get to do things because they're on a subway. It was also, they didn't have permission to film it, and they drove on real roads and got into real accidents.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wait, roads or like train stuff? Like tracks?
They had permission for the train. They didn't have permission for the car chase part.
Gotcha.
So when he was driving, he was really driving on real roads, and a lot of the people in the movie are actual pedestrians who become scared at watching this man fly down the road very fast.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It has a lot of tension, and like it's fun to watch the unraveling of the plot, but it's also, as many neo-noirs are, it's that very kind of like grimy 70s moral ambiguity where it's like the guys... The drug ring guys are drug ring guys who are selling heroin to people, so that's not great. But the cops are also like deeply unpleasant and racist, so it's like everyone kind of sucks actually. And that sort of moral ambiguity of it is very deliberate, which is part of why people are like, why are you removing the N-word from The French Connection? It's like he says it because we're supposed to understand something about who this guy is. It's not like they were just like, well, it's the 70s and you can say the N-word if you want. But anyway, that's a good movie. It's on the Criterion Channel, which is where I watched it. I watched another movie from the 70s called Clay Pigeon, which I don't think I would call it good, but it's interesting. It's kind of like a pulpy B-movie sort of thing, where it's about this Vietnam vet who's now like a total hippie, who kind of gets coerced by an unnamed government organization into helping them bust a guy who's selling heroin. So, I don't know. I was on a reel watching movies about heroin dudes getting busted kick, I guess. It's not good because it's very meandering and, like, there's barely any plot to it, and the performances are mostly not very good. But it's interesting because there are sometimes just these utterly bizarre choices in the movie. Like, there's a full 2 minutes of the movie that's just a pickup truck like rolling down a hill. Every time there's like a car, like a police chase, they overlay it with like really like calm, like folk protest music, which feels weird. And then also it has this, it's very hard to pin down politically because it's, you know, a story about cops gotta stop drug man, but also the main character is a hippie who at one point goes on an extended rant yelling about how if they catch this guy, he's just going to get a couple years and it doesn't matter. Meanwhile, like kids with joints, which like weed is totally fine, will go to jail for like 5 years. And the whole system's corrupt. And it's like, I don't 100% get what's going on here, but there's a moral clarity to that speech that feels like incongruous with the rest of the movie. It's very interesting, is my point. Even if it's not very good. And the third movie I watched was I went to the first American public screening of Asteroid City, which is which is the new Wes Anderson movie. They were doing it at the Museum of the Moving Image, so I went.
Nice.
I told you about that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's your new favorite spot?
Exactly, yeah. Nando mentioned that the Museum of the Moving Image existed, so I looked into it. And they were having this Wes Anderson thing. This
Right up your alley.
This Wes Anderson thing that was only open to members, and they emailed you about if you wanted to go before we recorded that podcast.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we hooked you up. Yeah, because I went, and then they were like, this guy's from podcasts, so we got to get him involved, too. Mm-hmm. I guess that's what happened.
That's
no other
exactly
explanation, really.
Yep.
Yeah. So, don't spoil it, but are there cars?
Yes.
Nice. 3 for 3. Fast X Transformers in this.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Notes.
It's very, you know, it's quintessentially Wes Anderson. Like, if you're not a fan of his stuff, I don't think this one's going to change your mind. But if you are a fan, I really liked it. I think it's like a lot of his later movies. It's very layered, almost like sketch-like in quality, where like the scenes are. It's more like impressionistic. The scenes are like very loosely connected together. I think it's more connected than, say, The French Dispatch was, to be fair. There is like a
movie I did not care for.
There is a central plot that is happening. But like in that kind of impressionistic way, it's like you can tell there's a lot happening that we're not seeing that's also part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it all kind of like adds up. There's also this meta layer to it where the whole thing is presented as the movie is a behind the scenes documentary about a play that is the main movie. Sort of. Yeah, I mean, if you watch it, you understand. It's just hard to explain. But yeah, no, I really liked it. I think it has this meticulous attention to detail. It is an extremely dense movie. Like there's a lot to unpack there and a lot to notice just visually as you're watching it. And yeah, if you like later period Wes Anderson stuff, I think you're going to like it a lot because I think it is of higher quality amongst those offerings. But yeah, those are my... Oh, there's also a Q&A by Wes Anderson, but you don't get to see that, so really no point in me wrecking that, huh?
Did he say if he was going to direct the new Transformers movie?
Yeah, he said actually he's going to direct every Transformers movie from now until he dies.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We're so lucky.
I hope he lives for a while.
He also said that AI that made Lord of the Rings, but like if he made it, was better than he was, and he was going to retire and replace himself with that AI from now on.
Oh, nice.
That AI has been getting work too, because I think they did a couple things with it. Man, he must hate that. Did they ask him about that actually?
Nobody brought it up.
Not like that AI, but yeah, like that's gotta be so annoying.
I'm sure he hates it.
Yeah.
But those are my recs. What about you, Nando?
So as everyone has said, it's been a short week, so I haven't watched a ton of stuff. I will say I've watched More Great, but we haven't finished it. I did watch or play a game. I played Humanity. You guys heard of this?
Heard of.
You go outside and you put your controller and, look at people and you just pretend you're playing it. It's a game. It's hard to explain, really, Humanity, because it is a game where you are a dog, but it's not like those games where you're a cat. Your job as the dog is you're supposed to lead people through levels, and the people are like little kind of stick figure guys who all just kind of go in a direction. And your job is you have little arrows you can put and like commands you can give the people, and waves of them come out, and you're supposed to kind of trick them into going in the right way. It's a puzzle game. It's a lot of fun. I don't quite know what it's doing. Like, it's got a story and it's got like a whole thing, which is a little strange. But overall, I think it's a good, like, it's a very solid little puzzle game, which is not, you know, always my favorite thing. Like, sometimes I like them a lot and sometimes I'm not a huge fan. But I'm only maybe 2 stages, like, or like 2 like level packs through. So I think there's a lot more. And we'll see how that turns out. But so far, I will say I think it's interesting. But you guys, what are we doing next week?
Flash.
He's the guy from the universe. How's that song go?
Savior of the universe.
Savior of the universe.
The Savior of the universe? Yeah, interesting. Because in this, maybe he's not.
Oh.
Maybe he is. Who knows?
Oh.
Yeah, listen. This is going to be something, isn't it? We're going to do Flash. Oof.
We're going to talk about Nando's tweets.
Favorite movie of the year. Everyone's favorite movie.
We're going to talk about how Nando's a Scientologist now. He got kidnapped by Tom Cruise.
Yep.
And brainwashed.
It's you know what? It's an interesting movie. I can't wait till people start seeing it. I'm really curious what people will think of it because it's weird.
Are we going to forgive Ezra Miller of all of their crimes? Is Ezra Miller good now?
I don't know. That's it's Hollywood. So the rules are so unclear. Sometimes you get immediately forgiven no matter what you do, and sometimes you'll never be forgiven, even if you didn't do the thing.
I think sometimes if your content is good, then you get to be forgiven for the thing. It just seems like that's part of the rule.
That has gotten a lot of people through a lot of things. Yeah,
it's true.
We shall see.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what people think of this movie because it's so weird. But that is next week. Until then, DJ, do you have anything to plug?
Just same Roses and Rejections. Not much new to cover on that front, so check that out on the Pop Break TV network. Diggins, how about you?
The short story collection thing I write for sometimes, Ballads of the Distant Reaches, has just launched an Indiegogo campaign to accomplish a few projects, help fund it a little longer, pay writers and artists, and also they're trying to launch a print magazine, do some more long-form stories. So yeah, that is on Indiegogo. You can look up Ballads of the Distant Reaches to go support them, because sometimes they give me money, and isn't that the greatest cause of all?
Hell yeah.
Also, I mean, it is also very good work. I am proud of what I did for them, and I think they've published lots of great stories as well. But most importantly, they give me money.
You lost me at pay artists and writers. I think there was some more stuff there, but...
Do we need creatives? Creatives feel more of like a nice to have rather than a need.
Pay AI.
What about you?
Don't pay AI. What about me?
What about you, Nando? What do you have to plug?
I don't really have anything. I don't think anything new has dropped for me. Doing a new video since the last one. You know what? I'm working on my fan casting The Authority video because they are getting a movie, and also there have been rumors today that they are going to be the villains. Which specific ones of them are going to be the villains in the new Superman movie? So thinking about that's been interesting. The Authority is interesting. Some of them are better than others, so I'm curious to see what they end up doing with it. But yeah, so I'll have a video about that probably before this next podcast comes out for sure. Maybe other stuff, who knows. Until next week, Flash, I've been at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Woo!
Bye. Love you.